Welcome, everyone. If you're new here, my name's Brian, and I host a morning radio show that's on a whole bunch of radio stations here in Florida. And we live stream on the radio. We live stream on YouTube while we're on the radio. I'm very disorganized today, and because I dropped all my work here, but I got everything picked up, I think, and somewhat organized. I got a big announcement today. I'm going to tell you guys here. You're going to hear it before they hear it on the radio. But on Sunday, me and Steve Kane are going to do an appearance with Governor Ron DeSantis on Sunday. I can't say where it is going to be until tomorrow, which they made a big deal about telling me that. I can tell people we're doing the appearance with Governor DeSantis on Sunday, but I can't say where until tomorrow. So if you're one of our Florida listeners, cancel your plans for Sunday, because you're going to want to go and see this. It's going to be a pretty big deal. And one of the things that was really exciting about it is not just that we're doing it, because, Ron DeSantis is a superstar, but that they called us to do it. That was like we were asked, And, they actually, can you imagine? Can you do an appearance with Governor Ron DeSantis? They actually, yeah, you have to ask. But I got to be careful that I don't slip and say where it's at. Here we go. Oh, man. Yes. I came on a little early, I know. All right, welcome to the program, everyone. Oh, man, very exciting news we're going to share with you today. Big announcement coming up in just a moment. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Bear with me. I'm about 1 cup of coffee behind where I normally am at this point in the morning. So I'm not at full brain power, which means I'm still superior to some of our callers, that's for sure, some of these degenerates that call us. But just bear with me. We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot to talk about on the program. I'm going to talk, there was a big incident with AOC we're going to get to in a little bit yesterday, pretty massive. We're going to talk here in the beginning about what happened with Alex Jones yesterday. Alex Jones is done. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to make an announcement today. And you all are hearing this first, okay? And there'll be more details on the specifics tomorrow. But on Sunday, Steve and I got a very busy weekend, right? But on Sunday, Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, we are making an appearance with the governor of the greatest state in the union, Florida. We are doing a personal appearance with the governor of Florida. That's right, Ron DeSantis. And we will tell you tomorrow where it's at. I'm not allowed to tell you where it is at until tomorrow. And yeah, I know, this is, I'm very excited. In fact, I'm so excited about it. When I came in here today, I dropped on the floor all of my copy for the commercials. I have papers here that tell me the phone numbers, of the sponsors when I'm talking about them. And I dropped everything. I'm very disorganized because I am very excited to be with Governor Ron DeSantis with Steve on Sunday. And I have not met Governor DeSantis yet. I have been in his presence. I don't know, how close was I to him? I don't know, maybe 10 feet from him, but I didn't get to meet him. But this is a whole nother deal. So I'm very excited about that. And what do you say to Ron DeSantis other than thank you? Could you imagine what these last couple of years in the state of Florida would have been like if Andrew Gillum had won and been the governor of Florida? My goodness, we will probably still be closed. What Ron DeSantis has done on the West Coast post-hurricane is phenomenal and amazing. And so all you can say to him is thank you. But I am very excited. I got to tell you, I am excited beyond imagination to be with. And you know what? They called us and asked us to do this. Can you? I mean, what do you mean can? Can we be with Governor Ron DeSantis? Are you kidding? Of course we can. Now, while I cannot tell you where it is at until tomorrow, cancel your Sunday plans. You will want to come. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the location all day long throughout the show. But cancel your Sunday plans. If you are in our Florida listening audience, you will be able to come. Okay, it is a venue that is open to the public. All right, and I may give some hints as to where it is at, but I can't tell you specifically. So you are all invited to come meet me, Steve Kane, and of course, the greatest governor ever in the history of American governors, the governor of Ron DeSantis' free Florida, Ron DeSantis himself. This is very exciting. I'm very excited. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. I'm sorry, I just found out. I mean, I'm giddy. You know, and I'll tell you, I just tell you something. We had not announced this. Steve and I were going to be off tomorrow for a personal thing with me. And we're coming in tomorrow to work. We were going to be off tomorrow, but we are going to be here live tomorrow. And I had to change what I was doing so we could be here tomorrow to share with all of you in the listening audience about this Ron DeSantis appearance on Sunday that we're doing. So, yeah, we will be here live tomorrow, but we were not going to be. But, hey, the show must go on. You got to do what you got to do, right? All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, of course, 888-465-2631. You know, Alex Jones, this thing with Alex Jones had a $1 billion with a B judgment against him. $1 billion. I mean, you know, and of course they're going to appeal it. I mean, it's so much money, he'll never be able to repay it. But even when they appeal it, and it gets reduced, because it very well could. It may not, but it could. The amount, even reduced, is going to be greater than he will ever be able to repay. He is going to be in a situation worse than O.J. Simpson. If you remember, when O.J. Simpson was acquitted of 2 murders that he clearly committed, Fred Goldman, Ron Goldman, his father, got that judgment against him. And O.J. can't make 10 cents without Ron Goldman's dad, Fred, and the Goldman family getting the money, except for some reason, I don't know the legalities of all this, but O.J. Simpson's NFL pension was protected from the Fred Goldman judgment. And I don't know how much that pension is. It's certainly not the kind of money O.J. was accustomed to. Because, you know, when he played professional football, it was the 70s. Did he stop playing in the 70s? It had to be, because he was making movies. And so his pension is based on a salary probably close to what the minimum wage is in the NFL now. But Alex Jones is not going to have that kind of protection. He is never going to be able to make a living again. Now, I'm not a big Alex Jones fan or supporter, but I'm not an enemy of his either. I never really paid too much attention to Alex Jones. But there have always been, in media, conspiracy theorists. Do you guys remember Art Bell? Remember Art Bell? Passed away years ago. Very strange man. Art Bell had this show that was on Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, and it was an overnight show on national radio, and he would talk about UFO sightings and Area 51 and Bigfoot and all that stuff. And it was such BS listening to that. You know, I used to believe in Bigfoot when I was a little kid, you know, and In Search Of was my source of information, and UFOs and stuff too, but it's all BS. And I remember one time in particular, Art Bell did something on his show that I was shocked he allowed it to happen. He was upset. He was obsessing over Area 51. Any of you remember Art Bell? Are you familiar with Art Bell? Art Bell was obsessing over Area 51, and he had a call from a guy who claimed to be in his single-engine aircraft, And he was tired of all this secrecy around Area 51. And while he called Alex Jones while in flight at night, live, and he was going to fly over Area 51 and find out what is there in his Cessna or something, so single engine, twin engine aircraft. And Art Bell followed along as he flew and crossed the no-fly zone at Area 51, and the guy went into this. He was obviously in his bathroom with a stationary fan behind him, trying to sound like an airplane or something. But Alex Jones, Art Bell kept him on through this whole to-do that he had crossed over Area 51. Fighter jets came in and shot him down. He even was doing evasive action. And Art Bell was carrying along with this like it was real. And when the line went dead, Art Bell was very concerned. And that's just one example. I thought to myself, are you kidding me? So there have always been weirdo conspiracy people that promote bizarre, strange conspiracy theories all of the time. I mean, that's just the way of it, okay? And it's good, and it'll continue to be that way. Why they went after Alex Jones, I've never seen something like this. You know, after other high-profile incidents, there have always been conspiracy theories. You know, I give an example. I just mentioned O.J. Simpson and the Judgment. There are people for years who were in different media platforms who talked about, not only was O.J. not guilty, but all kinds of bizarre conspiracy theories around that. Remember the Colombian drug dealers and many other things. I've never seen someone have their entire life destroyed over conspiracy theories. I'm going to take a break, and I'll open up the phones to take your calls on this Alex Jones $1 billion judgment. And he's also facing prison time, possibly. I'll get into that too, but first we got to take our break, all right? It's the Steve Kane Show. Oh, boy, oh boy. Where am I? All right. Well, before I got on the air, I was on the phone about this Ron DeSantis appearance, so I got here just before airtime because I was tied up on the phone with that. That's why I'm a cup behind on my coffee.
BrightonDentalCare.com. On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right. Yes, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Oh, man, it's Thursday morning already. Oh, man, this week is flying by. Welcome. I got to tell you guys, we're in Medicare open enrollment period. And if you are a Medicare recipient, this is the only time of year that you can make changes to your policy. That's right. Because after open enrollment is over, that's it. You're stuck with what you have for the rest of the year. I want to tell you about Debbie from I Will Advisors. You know, Debbie from I Will Advisors, Debbie Klatzoff, her family have been with us here on the Steve Kane Show since the early to mid-90s. When they first joined us, Bill Clinton was the President of the United States. That's how long that family has been with us, helping listeners of the Steve Kane Show with their Medicare each and every year. And Debbie handles Steve's every year. You know, it costs you nothing to have her review your policy, and you want her to do that. There are all kinds of changes. You want to make sure that your primary care physician is still covered on your policy next year. You want to make sure your specialist is covered, your prescription medications, your local pharmacy. If you have a supplement, you want to make sure that you're not paying too much for that supplement. Debbie at I Will Advisors can do all of that for you. And by the way, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, Debbie at I Will Advisors can help you. From the Panhandle to Key West and everywhere in between. Of course, here in South Florida too. She's located in Broward County in Coral Springs. But no matter where you are in Florida, she can help. She just saved Steve big time a few months ago. He had a medication, cost thousands of dollars a month, and she was able to get it taken care of for him. That's what she does. And you know, Debbie at I Will Advisors represents all the major insurance carriers, not just one. You know, a lot of these companies you call up or you see advertising on television, they only represent one company. So they're not going to get what you need. They're going to push you into the one company that they represent. Debbie at I Will Advisors represents all of them. So she'll make sure that she finds the right plan with the right company for you and your needs. I'm going to give you the number. If you call now and you get an answering machine, leave a message. Debbie and I Will Advisors will call you back. 954-753-8080. 954. Say, I have this number memorized because they've been with us for so many years, decades. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. Debbie at I Will Advisors. So what's happening with Alex Jones, with this is a $1 billion judgment. There were two judgments against him, totaling about $1 billion. He's completely canceled now. He's done. Even with the appeal and it gets reduced, he's done. And, you know, this is a form of... I'm not agreeing with anything that Alex Jones said or did. I mean, that's just insanity. He's insane, Alex Jones, what he did. Okay? But he has totally been canceled. And it's not just him. You know, this cancel culture that we are in has taken on a level that is so surreal, because you would not imagine that things like this could possibly happen in the United States. I'm going to give you two other examples. Just yesterday, there were three major things that happened. Now, unless you're on Twitter, you probably don't know who this person is. But there is a very, very popular, viral, conservative Twitter account called Cat Turd. And they are very, very conservative, very funny, really a professional comedic writer, Cat Turd, and I follow Cat Turd. In fact, they wrote a novel about something else entirely, not even about politics, that I've bought and started reading it. Have not finished it. And they are really popular. And everything they say, not only is MAGA conservative, but spot on, and people get ticked. Their bank did to them what Mike Lindell had happened to him. They were told by their bank, Bank of America, Cat Turd, that their account is being canceled. Have you ever heard of such a thing? This happened just yesterday, and this isn't the only one. It's crazy. They just told them, we're closing your account. Have you ever heard of something like this before? And it didn't just happen to Cat Turd yesterday. J.P. Morgan Chase did the same thing to Kanye and told Kanye that they are closing his accounts because of that DEF CON tweet that he made. Very stupid comment. I, for the life of me, have never heard such things happen before until this year. Yeah, here's the story on Kanye West. And this is, I can't be the only person who says, how can this be? How can this be? And this came out from Candace Owens. Candace Owens reported yesterday, she was the first one to have the story, that Kanye West has been dropped by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. And he was sent a letter, and here's some of the letter. We are sending this letter to confirm our recent discussion that J.P. Morgan Chase Bank has decided to end its relationship with Yeezy LLC and its affiliated entities, and that's Kanye West companies. Candace Owens tweeted, this was yesterday, earlier today I learned that Kanye West was officially kicked out of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. I was told there was no official reason given. They sent this letter as well to confirm that he has until late November to find another place to bank. And he's like a billionaire. How much money does he have in the bank there? More money than I'll ever have in my life total, from birth, from cradle to grave. He's a billionaire. Mike Lindell, same thing happened to him a few months ago. He was canceled by his banks. You know, this Iran deal that the Obama regime started, that Biden's trying to get going again and has been in negotiations with. Remember what happened? All that Iranian money was frozen in banks, the big banks in New York, and Obama unfroze it and sent plane loads of cash money from the banks. Not just the money they had when the accounts were frozen in 1979 when they took our embassy and American hostages, but they allowed them to even have the earned interest since then. Can you imagine? The banks didn't stop doing banking with Iran. They kept that money and used it. Now, they were forced to freeze the accounts, but come on. What Kanye West tweeted was stupid. It was stupid. And, yeah, anti-Semitic. But have you ever heard someone having their bank account canceled because the banker didn't like what they've said? Cat Turd yesterday, same thing, different bank. Mike Lindell a few months ago, and now Alex Jones has also been canceled with this $1 billion financial judgment against him, and he's facing possible prison time, Alex Jones, because he's been doing some monkey business, hiding assets so they couldn't be taken or seized, changing the deed on his house to his wife and other things I was reading some articles about today. And you know what? They're going to go after him for that, and Alex Jones very well could be put behind bars. Now, Alex Jones is an insane, crazy man, and he does say and do things that are stupid and irresponsible and rather reckless. I've heard him say some things I do agree with, but I certainly don't agree with what he did on Sandy Hook. But does that mean that he should have a financial judgment against him that will end his ability to earn even a modest living? Kanye West. That tweet was stupid, probably anti-Semitic, but was it to the level where he is canceled from being able to bank at a major bank? And liberals are very comfortable with this cancel culture where people like Donald Trump, canceled from the social media platforms, are canceled and unable to function in our society. Is this the country you want to live in? We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. In our society, is this the country
you want
to live in? We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. I feel good. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning at 10 a.m. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day's off to a great start. We're going to see daytime highs today near 90.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time Oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
Good morning at the Palm Beaches. I-95 and the Turnpike are both incident-free at this time and moving up the speed from Boca Raton to Jupiter. There is a multi-vehicle crash blocking the right shoulder on I-95 heading northbound before Palmetto Park Loop, causing no delay in the approach. In West Palm, we have construction in place blocking two left lanes along Southern Boulevard eastbound and Congress Avenue. We also have some light volume now on Southern Boulevard eastbound coming out of the 8th Bridge, also along Jog Road north and southbound passing Atlantic Avenue. This report is sponsored by KFC, presented by Kentucky Fried Chicken, $6 two-piece drum and thigh combo. For just $6, you get 2 pieces of juicy chicken, creamy mashed potatoes, a flaky biscuit, and a medium ice cold drink. Order Kentucky Fried Chicken, do $6 two-piece combo now on the KFC app or KFC.com. That's finger looking good. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is at the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
Alexa rocks, and now so do you.
How can I help you?
Just say, Alexa, play Oldies South Florida.
Okay, playing it now.
Now, you've got the good time Oldies, 95.3 and 96.9.
Denise Hair Salon, one of the trendiest salons in Brooklyn, is officially in Boca. Known for its professionalism and uniquely talented staff, we're excited to offer a free consultation for every new client. We're looking forward to welcoming you to our new location. Book your appointment today and get 20% off any hair service.
Located at 7600 North Federal Highway in Boca, or check us out on IG at Denise Hair Salon and call 561-826-8704.
That's Denise with the Z.
Negotiating systems in Boynton Beach thanks our troops and veterans for everything they've done so fearlessly for us. Send letters and packages from home and offer a veteran a discount on your local product or service. It will be Systems in Boynton Beach. Trusted 30-plus years of experience specializing in concealment systems for fire, sprinkler, pipe, and plumbing lines, HVAC, cable, and conduit. Visit them online at decoshield.com.
It's hurricane season, and if you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you have a leak in your roof. When we had a leak in our roof at the Kane household, we called Tom Laporta. He's the best in the business. Remember, small leaks turn into medium leaks, and medium leaks turn into big problems. Call licensed contractor Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. 954-604-4602. And tell him Steve Kane sent you.
I invite you to join me at the Delray Beach Chamber of Commerce, because here we're all about community. With like-minded people and businesses, the Chamber will help your business grow, and you get to connect with people that will become your best friends. Weekly events give you ample opportunities to learn alongside talented professionals. At the Delray Beach Chamber of Commerce, we are better together. Become a member at delraybeach.com.
Shiny and strong and healthy and hydrated. Your hair can do it all. So get to Ulta Beauty's gorgeous hair event. Have it now to see how you can take your hair to a whole new level. Discover beauty steals of 50% off must-haves from brands like Living Proof and Redken. And explore exciting new arrivals from Olaplex and Dyson. These deals won't last long. So hurry. This event ends October 22nd. Shop in-store, online, or pick up today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Thursday morning. Oh, man. So just talking in the first couple segments of the hour, this billion-dollar judgment against Alex Jones, Kanye West, catcher suspended from banking. This cancel culture has gone to a whole new level. And, you know, it's a similar theme that's going on. You know, they are canceling anyone that they disagree with out there. And what's insane to me is this Generation Z. You know, the millennials are older now. They're like pushing 40. Generation Z are the younger ones. And the Generation Z crowd, they're completely comfortable with this cancel culture. You know, and it's amazing to me. You know, Scalia, the great Supreme Court Justice Scalia, he said, you don't need the First Amendment to protect popular speech. We all love puppies. You need the First Amendment to protect unpopular speech. You get it? I mean, to support someone's right to say stupid things is what the First Amendment is all about. And things are going to get worse because the powers that be are behind this, and they're losing their grip on power. The establishment is losing control more and more every day, and that's going to continue. They're going to continue to lose control, and what they're doing is tightening their grip. You know, look at what's going on with Trump, with lawyers over the years. Michael Cohen was his lawyer. They sent him to prison. I know he's a scummy guy now, and he's on television saying terrible things about President Trump. He was doing it yesterday. I think he had to make a deal. He'll spend the rest of his life on television trashing Trump if they go light on him. And now I'm hearing Christina Bobb, his other attorney. There's a lot of stories that they got her jammed up now. And other Trump attorneys have faced all kinds of trouble. You know, I've always followed true crime and things like this. I've always been interested in true crime. You guys have? You know, a lot of it, I think, has to do with the O.J. Simpson trial. That was an amazing time in radio. That's the golden age of radio, was the O.J. Simpson trial. It was an amazing time. But I've always been interested in true crime. And lawyers are scumbags. I mean, they're hired, defense attorneys, criminal defense attorneys are hired liars. And I've never heard of attorneys having their homes broken into, like Mayor Giuliani and Michael Cohen and others. And now they're giving Christina Bobb a hard time. I've never heard attorneys representing killers and rapists and child pornographers. You know, the scummiest lowlives in our society. Have you ever heard of their attorneys being harassed by law enforcement before Trump. Never. And the reason they do that is there's a couple reasons why they do it. One, it's like the break-in of Mar-a-Lago. It's a search for information attempt. They want to try to find some dirt. But also they want to scare competent attorneys from working with him. During the impeachments, the first one in particular, President Trump had a very difficult time finding top-tier Washington representation because the top Washington lawyers knew that if they represented Trump, now of course they could represent a child molester and no one would blink, but if they represent Trump, no one will do business with them in the future. They'll lose all that big Washington law firm business. So part of the harassment of President Trump is so that he cannot get adequate counsel. You look at the January 6 prisoners. And this is something I noticed right off the bat when the DC Gitmo thing first started happening, and you would see their attorneys on TV. Newsmax would have attorneys representing January 6 prisoners all the time. I've never seen attorneys look like these guys in high-profile cases. What I mean by that is they were wearing off-the-rack suits, right? And the clothes they were wearing were not expensive attorney suits like you would normally see in high-profile legal cases. And the January 6 prisoners can't get that top-tier attorney because they're afraid to represent them, that their law practice will be destroyed in the future, like Michael Cohen and others. Giuliani's, they broke into his house too, remember? So that's what they do. And I'm sure these guys are fine lawyers and patriots and everything else, and they're, but prior to Trump, when there's a high-profile case, famous lawyers go out and represent people in these controversial cases. They want the publicity. That's how O.J. Simpson got together this dream team that he had. Alan Dershowitz represented those Nazis. Remember that? So that they could march in Skokie. But if you represent Trump, you're canceled. The cancel culture in this society has gotten out of control, and people have had their lives destroyed by it. And a lot of the problems we've talked about in the public schools that came forth with that Loudoun County school board meetings last year and all that craziness that went on, what the left have done is successfully infiltrated not just our school boards, but our classrooms with lunatic leftist activists who are not just activists, they're militant activists of liberalism, and liberalism is very radical these days. And they're doing in K through 12 to the minds of young children and students what they used to wait for until college. And we have this new generation of people under the age of 35 who think this cancel culture that happened to Kanye yesterday with the bank accounts and the other examples I've talked about in the last little bit is perfectly fine, because those are people that have dangerous ideas. Those are people we don't like. I don't want anyone to be canceled and have their livelihood taken away from them, or their bank account closed, or sued to a point where they can no longer even afford to go to the movies on the weekend, like they're doing with Alex Jones. I mean, this is an insane time that we are in right now. Now, Herschel Walker, this is amazing. Now, yesterday and the day before, there were some polls out that Herschel Walker had fallen a bit in the polls. And a lot of people, for very good reason, were concerned about that. Well, an internal poll has been released, an internal Herschel Walker poll. Now, and just explain what that is real quick. The polls you see on TV are push polls. And what that means is the polls you see on the television news are designed to push the viewer into a certain opinion on something, okay? And they had these polls that this fake abortion story on Herschel Walker was hurting him, and they wanted to get that narrative out. So an internal poll was released. Candidates, political parties have internal polls, which are the true scientific polls. An internal poll for Herschel Walker shows that he is in first place in the Georgia race. It's a three-way race, by the way. The internal poll for Herschel Walker, released on Twitter yesterday, shows that Herschel Walker is in the lead by just 2 points. But he's not behind. He's in the lead. He led the poll with 46% compared to Warnock's 44%, and Chase Oliver, who's a libertarian, has 4%. Now, let me tell you, I know a lot of you out there probably consider yourself a libertarian, and I think President Trump's a libertarian to a certain extent. I'm a libertarian too. But these libertarians don't vote for them, especially in a race like this. Libertarians like this Chase Oliver, who I don't know much about. I looked him up during the break. He doesn't look like a conservative libertarian to me. He looks like a skinny pants wearing snowflake, but I don't know. Libertarians take votes away from Republicans, and they have no hope of winning anything. They get 3 points, 4 points. Some of these races are decided on very slim margins. Okay? And this libertarian is a spoiler. And wherever you are, if there's a libertarian on your ballot and there's a Republican on that ballot, don't vote for the libertarian. You might as well vote for the Democrat. You're doing the same thing. You know, and these libertarians on their high holy horse of morality, and they're the principled ones, they help Democrats get elected all over this country, and they always will, and maybe that's what they want. A lot of them are ego runs. They run for ego. But the margins are too slim in a lot of these races to say, well, I'm a libertarian. I'm going to vote for the libertarian who's going to end up getting 2 or 3% of the vote. If this libertarian were not in the race, Herschel Walker would be up by about 5. Maybe even higher, right? Think about that. And 5 points ahead in a Senate race is a huge lead, but this libertarian is keeping his lead to only 2 points. What a jerk the libertarian is. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this. This libertarian is keeping his lead to only 2 points. What a jerk the libertarian is. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
Hear that music? That means it's Christmas shopping season again. And when you're Christmas shopping, there's no better place to go than MyPillow.com. And with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, you will find the lowest prices ever on top MyPillow products. Right now, order your MyPillow My Slippers for $90 off in all sizes and colors for both men and women. The MyPillow that started it all is just $19.98. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper is 50% off. The MyPillow pet bed is 50% off too. There's also
well, thank you, Rome.
on the 6-piece MyPillow.
Let me pin that to the chat, the link to my Patreon page.
The MyPillow bathrobes, whatever special you see at MyPillow.com, you can take advantage of it with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. You can also order over the phone.
William Green, call me on the air. That is such BS. William Green, I'm going to read your comment when I get back.
Promo code KANE.
Call me on the air and tell me about the evidence against Herschel Walker.
Have a plan to go to a hurricane shelter,
Please.
hotel, or stay with a family or friends. If you're ordered to evacuate, you need to leave. You can rebuild your home, but you cannot rebuild your life. This hurricane season, know your zone. Know your home. Learn more at floridadisaster.org. This message is sponsored by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Have you been told that you have bone on bone or need a knee replacement? Have you been told that you have osteoarthritis? Well, then come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions that include rehab and injections.
Look up the guy that's running
you from having to have surgery
as a libertarian in Georgia.
We've been in practice for 75 years in South Florida. You don't have to live with pain any longer. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and
William
delicious,
Green will not
crispy
call
on the
in.
outside,
A
succulent
seminar
on the
chatter.
inside, everything
Coward.
Homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and reduce friction and wear. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $33.99. Try Syntec today, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the...
Yes, it is. Oop. Yes, it is. We are back. Sorry, I got my thrusters on the wrong buttons over here. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Now, join Steve Kane and me and Mike from Eagle Eye Protection Services on Saturday. This Saturday at 10 a.m., Steve Kane and I are taking our concealed weapon permit course with you guys. You're all invited out there, and this is going to be a great course. You know, Mike from Eagle Eye Protection Services, who we're going to have on the show next week after we have the class and talk to him about the class. I'm really excited about this. I finally made the decision to get my concealed weapons permit. People have been telling me for years that I need to get a concealed weapons permit, and they're right. And I'm getting it for some specific reasons that I'm not sharing with you, but let's just suffice it to say that I want to protect myself and my family. That's right. And, you know, Mike from Eagle Eye Protection Service is a master security expert. Okay, he teaches things far more advanced than the concealed weapons permit course, so this is top instruction. If you're new to Florida, you want to come. You do. If you're a gun owner like me and has not gotten your concealed weapons permit, be there. It's going to be exciting. We scheduled this for Saturday at 10 a.m. so that it'd be easier for some of you to come. It's on the weekend. I'm going to give you Mike's number. Give him a call and join us. You'll know me. I'll be the guy with the Make America Great Again hat on, all right? The number 561-723-6191. 561-723-6191. It's this Saturday, 10 a.m., 561-723-6191. Bring your spouse. Bring your significant other. Bring your adult children. Everyone in Florida really should have a concealed weapons permit. 561-723-6191. All right, now someone in our YouTube live chat room made a comment during the break, and I challenged them to call in, but they have not done it because they're a coward. But it was on Herschel Walker, and I'm going to read you what they said, and then I'll comment on it. The evidence incident about Herschel Walker appears to be true when we examine the evidence. Well, what evidence? What evidence? The charge against him that was made in the media by an anonymous woman who's never been identified or who's come public, she hasn't even done one of those interviews where you can't see her face or hear her voice is electronically, digitized. They didn't even do that. Liberal media claim to have interviewed a woman who says that 13 years ago, Herschel Walker paid for an abortion that she had, and she's got an abortion receipt. What evidence have we had? Have we seen proof of this abortion? The receipt? I've never even heard of receipts being given for abortions, but they say she has one. And in this article, they showed a get well card that Herschel Walker sent her. Okay. He sent her a get well card. Who sends a get well card for a secret abortion they're paying for? But what is a get well card? I've sent get well cards out to people. What does that mean? There's no evidence. This is a slander. And I'll tell you, I know with pretty good confidence, 99% confidence, that the story is completely false. And how do I know that? Because he's now up in the polls, only by 2 points because of this libertarian jerk, but he's now up in the polls, and the media haven't produced the woman. They're not even trying to find the woman. They haven't released this abortion receipt. That's a very bizarre thing. That's how I know that the story is not true. This story is, what, a week and a half old now? It didn't work. The October surprise smear against Herschel Walker, they would have increased it by now. And they haven't. Because it's not true. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. Toll-free call from anywhere. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. That's Andrea.
Oh, hey, Andrea.
This is how you know the Herschel Walker story is just it's a flat-out lie. First of all, abortion clinics deal in cash because they don't want any traceable income. So I highly doubt that anybody gave them a receipt. And secondly of all, the story in the Daily Beast actually named not the woman, but the reason why she might be holding on to this. In the story, it said Herschel Walker, quote-unquote, paid for her abortion, which was a lie, and then went on to have a child with someone else. Meaning, he didn't want to have anything to do with her. So, if it were true, which it is not, that would be her reason for being vindictive. But I will tell you, I worked at a gym in New Jersey that ran the NFL Combine. I've met Herschel Walker, I've met Eric Dorsey, Gerger Munderson, and Calvin Tate. They are phenomenal men. When you deal with NFL stars and potential NFL stars, there's a specific group of women who wait in the parking lot who try to bag themselves.
They're called groupies.
Right. Well, that's not what we call them, but I can't say that on the air. To the point where we had to escort the athletes and the stars to their cars. That's their career.
Well, that's what it's like when you're I met my wife this way. My wife was a groupie. She listened to me on the radio, and she came to a personal appearance to meet me. And now we've been married for a long time, 26 years in December. But but think about this. If someone came forward that I used to date a long time ago, before I was married, of course, and said they had an abortion, how am I responsible for that? How is that some indictment against me? How is that a hypocrisy with me if someone that I dated went and had an abortion? That's got nothing to do with me. And I'll tell you what, even if I gave them money after the fact because they laid out the money and I wanted to help them out, that's still not an indictment against me. And I'll tell you what, as so far as Herschel Walker, even if the story is 100% true, I don't care. Warnock wants to pay for everybody's abortion. So, and he's pro-life now, so who cares about this thing 13 years ago? Even if it were true, we're going to send somebody that wants everybody to have an abortion to the Senate because of this thing that maybe happened 13 years ago? Give me a break.
Exactly. Have a good day.
But before you go, I just popped in my head because I was about to tell people about the MyPillow bathrobes, which are being offered at their lowest price ever, half off. And I remembered last year you bought some MyPillow bathrobes.
Oh yeah, I gave all of my employees, I bought them MyPillow bathrobes and the towels. So the towels match the robes, white towels, white robes.
That's right.
And, I turned them loose I took them out for dinner and then turned them loose with an open tab, which I can tell you.
Oh my goodness.
And again,
you should have stuck with the MyPillow bathrobes, not the open tab. Yeah, that was a big mistake. But they woke up in the morning with those bathrobes and they don't remember how they got to where they were. But the MyPillow bathrobes are now being offered for half off, and they make great Christmas gifts for anyone on your gift-giving list, like Andrea last year gave them to her employees. And I'll tell you, you want to order them soon because not only is this the lowest price ever, they are one of the hottest, most in-demand items from MyPillow. They'll start to run out of sizes and colors soon. So you want to go to MyPillow.com and order yours with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, to get the deal. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. All right, Andrea, thanks for helping me with the commercial.
Have a great day, Brian.
All right, take care. Yeah, I mean, this is just the way it is, and you know, this political shift that's going on is being presented in the media, because you watch what's going on in the mainstream media, and you can't ignore the mainstream media. The mainstream media still have a lot of power. They have a lot of influence. That's why this thing with Tulsi Gabbard became such a big news thing the last few days, is because the television media, Fox News in particular, was pushing it, and the whole country was talking about it. So you can't ignore the influence of the mainstream media. They have a lot of influence still. Now, a lot of you, if you've cut the cord and you get all your information from the internet, you may say no one does that. Just because you're not watching it doesn't mean that no one is. Fox News Channel is #1 in cable news. Okay? They're not #1 in cable news because all the conservatives left Fox News. They're #1 in cable news because the majority of conservatives are still watching it. Okay, so you don't want to put your head in the sand and live in denial. Just because you're not doing something doesn't mean everyone else is not doing it too. You know what I mean? You get kind of in a bubble. But if you watch the mainstream media right now, the coverage they're doing as we approach this midterm election is very unusual and very interesting at the same time. What they're doing is talking about a new turn in the polls, that the polls are now showing that these Trump-backed Republicans across the country are gaining steam. They've always been in the lead. The media just wasn't covering it, okay? The media just wasn't covering it. And the reason they're covering it now and starting to tell you a little bit of the truth of how popular these MAGA Republicans are, like Herschel Walker, is because they know they're going to win, and they don't want to lose credibility with their own viewers. Rachel Maddow is now on 1 day a week, right? The reason that happened is because of the humiliation she personally feels, because she was 150% in on the Russia hoax. And every night, 5 days a week, she was telling her viewers Trump was going to jail. And then the Russia hoax was exposed even to the HuffPost MSNBC crowd as a hoax. And she's so humiliated, Rachel Maddow, she can barely go on the air anymore. And that's why she just does 1 day a week now. She had a breakdown over it. So the media are starting to report that, well, they're gaining ground now. No, they always were in the lead by far. Look at these events. Look at these rallies Trump has been doing for these individual candidates. Remember, these Trump events, whether he's in Pennsylvania or Georgia or Arizona or Nevada, the crowd size is only limited by the fire codes. Okay? They're coming out not just for Trump, he's the main attraction, but also to support those candidates because they want Trump to be successful. MAGA Republicans, we understand that we need to have a hardcore clean sweep. And the day after, when the election is decided, President Trump, we expect him to announce real soon after that. If he doesn't win all these races, he may say, So we have a vested interest in making sure that the Herschel Walkers, regardless of what slanders they throw out, win. Callers on hold, stand by. It's time for our top of the hour break. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. We'll be back with your calls and much, much more right after this. Don't go anywhere. Callers on hold, stand by. It's time for our top of the hour break. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. We'll be back with your calls and much, much more. Steve Kane Show. Right after this. Don't go anywhere. Hold on. Be right back, guys.
WWNN Pompano Beach, a VCMG live radio station. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day's off to a great start. We're just seeing daytime highs today near 90.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
The Palm Beach commute looking great this morning for 95A and the Turnpike. We're accident-free and moving up to speed from Boca Raton to Jupiter. We're seeing some more volume on Atlantic Avenue heading westbound towards 441. The surface streets are crash-free. We're also seeing some more volume on Forest Hill Boulevard east and westbound passing Military Trail. In Broward County, things are all clear as well for 95 and the Turnpike. 595 is also up to speed. This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. When your ride fires on all cylinders, so do you. That's why Napa is on a mission to keep you in motion. With nearly 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores and over 17,000 Napa Auto Part Care Centers, the Napa network has everything you need to get up and go. That's Strappin'. I'm Chris
Steve
Barr.
Kane Show.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News
Steve Kane
update.
Show.
ABC News Now, I'm Tom Rickles.
Hold on.
Expect recorded testimony from a
Okay, hold
number
on.
of Trump White House officials during today's public hearing for the January 6th.
Summation of their evidence, some new evidence of how Donald Trump set in motion.
You'll be first after the break. Hold on.
In the attack on the U.S. Capitol.
ABC Jonathan Carr. Russia couldn't veto the entire world. The UN General Assembly voted 143 to 5 with 35 abstentions, condemn Russia's illegal annexation of 4 Ukrainian regions and to demand its immediate reversal. If the resolution had gone through the Security Council, Russia would have vetoed. Government reports on retail inflation last month. Later this morning, economists expecting September inflation to hit 8.1%, down from 8.3% in August. This is ABC News.
Every day.
All right, here we go.
Stores have shoe grime and tech grime and invisible grime.
Invisible grime?
Yep, the kind of grime that you only notice when you look at your socks.
Ew.
So get Swiffer Sweeper Wet, the cleaning power of a mop with the convenience of a wipe. Sweeper heavy-duty wet pads.
Yeah, I think, yeah, he said he's William Green. I got to sneeze so bad right as we're coming on. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have time to take the mic off.
Yours in The Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Radio Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio. That's right. Okay, well, on line one, the man who says he's William Green and was talking about the Herschel Walker evidence in the chat room called us. Mr. Green, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm glad you called in because apparently there's some evidence proving something about Herschel Walker, and I want to know what that is.
I think you know what it is. You just don't want to believe it.
Well, tell me.
Receipt. Well, we got a receipt. We have the person who we have the woman. I mean, he knows who the woman is. He's saying he knows who the woman is now. We also have who sends a get well card for an abortion.
Okay, I'm waiting for the evidence part. You said in the first thing, by the way, no, I want to ask you a question. You said we have the receipt. Where can I find this 13-year-old abortion receipt?
Well, it's been displayed. Okay, so you see it online.
No. Tell me where to go online. Hold on. Tell me where to go online right now to find the Herschel Walker abortion receipt, and I will read the receipt and I'll show it to the viewers on YouTube, and I'll read through the receipt on the radio. Where online can I go to find the receipt?
Well, you asked one of the people who follow you. I know they've seen it too.
Well, you said you've seen it, so where did you see the abortion receipt?
Well, I've seen it online. Have you went to? I'll tell you what. Go to Undisputable with Dr.
Okay, hold on. What if I type in Herschel Walker abortion receipt? Let me Google that. Let's see if that hasn't come up.
You act like you don't now. You say the lady hasn't been identified, but she has.
She has not been identified. They've kept her identity secret. What's her name?
Well, first of all, it's a woman who had a child with Herschel Walker. The child is 10 years old. We know that.
Do you think it is a fair assumption that NFL football stars cannot remember the women that they've had sex with? They've had sex with so many women. Isn't that reasonable?
Well, it's reasonable to know that Herschel Walker got his mental issues so bad he don't remember threatening to kill his wife, his ex-wife.
No, we're moving on to another issue. See, I'm Googling. See, this is the deal. An anonymous woman has said she has an abortion receipt, but they've not shown it to us.
Wait a minute. We're talking about his mental problem. That's the problem I have with Herschel Walker, really. He doesn't remember threatening to kill his ex-wife. He doesn't remember a lot of things. His mental health is in bad condition.
Okay. Now I got a question for you. As a black man in America, right? Because you're a black man somewhere in America. Why are you a Democrat? Well, you're supporting one. Then what are you?
Did you look at the rest of my post? I said I wish there were somebody else who had a better moral ground who can run.
What do you mean? What do you want, a monk? You want a monk?
Who's above reproach, at least.
Well, who would that be? What Republican would that be?
Not a hypocrite.
What about Donald Trump? What are your thoughts on Donald Trump?
Donald Trump, I don't know. I mean, he's not in office yet.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts on Donald Trump? Is he a moral man?
Well, no, he's not.
No, he's not. So you're not a Democrat. What are you?
Well, you don't believe in people who are independent.
Who'd you vote for in the last 2 elections?
You've seen Brewster's Millions.
No, who did you? I've seen Brewster's Millions, including the original. Who did you vote for in the last 2 elections? Nobody.
Biden or no, I didn't vote for Biden.
You didn't vote? Think about all the black civil rights activists whose lives were lost fighting for the right to vote, and you can't be bothered?
Wait a minute, I vote for a lot of people. Now, man.
You said, but you didn't vote for anyone for president the last 2 times.
To do anything.
When the last time you the last time you voted for president, who'd you vote for?
The last time I voted for president, and it's been a while back, I voted for Barack Obama the first time, not the second time now. Not the second time, because he changed his view on a lot of moral issues.
So you're not a Democrat, but the only vote for president you can recall is when you voted for a Democrat. Why'd you vote for Obama in 2008?
Well, he promised a lot of things, changes and everything.
Like what? What thing did he promise? What did he promise that you wanted?
Well, that's the problem. It was a big front, but change for hope,
Hope.
We hope for it.
Who'd you vote for in 2012? You said you didn't vote for Obama.
I don't remember who was running for in 2012. I don't remember.
Mitt Romney.
No, I didn't vote for Mitt Romney.
So you didn't vote for president in 2012. You haven't voted since 2008.
No, who ran? I can't remember who ran for 2012.
I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine black men and women prior to the Civil War just wishing that they could vote and take part in the process, and here they're suffering and their activism, and you can't be bothered because you're on some higher plane of morality?
There's a lot of state people, local people who's making a difference who I'm voting for now, who I voted for in the past. Okay, so I do vote. It's just my right to vote for, or not to vote for a certain office. Because I don't vote for the lesser devil. I just don't vote.
The lesser devil. Okay.
The lesser evil.
Well, I don't vote for the lesser evil. That would imply that someone's evil that I'm voting for. I wouldn't vote for an evil person.
Think abortion is evil?
Absolutely.
Somebody who supports abortion, who's having abortions, whose things are coming out, that's evil.
Yeah, I don't vote for people that support abortion.
That's right, I don't either.
And Herschel Walker doesn't support abortion. So what's your beef with Herschel Walker?
Abortion. When you pay for an abortion.
We don't know that. Listen, I know you think that the woman has been identified and a receipt has been shown, but that is not true. And if a girl that you had sex with years ago came forward 13 years later and said she had an abortion from a child you impregnated her with, how is that your fault? How would that even be your responsibility? How would that be a hypocrisy with you?
It would be if you supported her and encouraged her to get the abortion and help pay for it.
Well, Herschel Walker says that's not true. Herschel Walker says that's not true. And since we haven't seen the woman and she hasn't spoken, we don't even know there is a woman. Don't you find it odd? I have talked to several women since that story came out that have had abortions on this program. All of them said they were not given a receipt for the abortion.
Okay, and last point here. Look up Herschel Walker talking about the actual woman who claimed he had an that he carried out an abortion. He know who it is. He talked about the woman. He talked about the child he had with the woman. So
Herschel Walker has been a football star probably since Pee Wee football. If you paid him $10 million, if he could list by name every woman he's had sex with, he couldn't do it. He was a football star and national celebrity his whole life. For him to not remember a woman he was with is expected.
Well, think about this. He's been a national celebrity all his life, but how long has he been a Christian?
I don't know.
10 years. Okay. Now, most of those been, well, that's something to look into. But look up who is the woman who had...
I have. I was doing it while we were talking. She has not been identified. And I'll tell you something. If the woman was telling the truth or even exist, she could be worth millions of dollars today because the media would bring her forward and she would get paid by the Democrats to come forward and tell the details and show the evidence against Herschel Walker. That's how bad they want to stop him. But that hasn't happened. They would set up a GoFundMe and she'd have $10 million by Friday. The woman is either doesn't exist or she's lying or has no proof.
We can say what had happened and what if happened and everything. We don't know what had happened. If you come forward, we don't know what happened.
Well, hey, listen, William, I got to run for the break, but I want to thank you for the call. And, you know, this is not an easy show to call, and you were an anonymous person in the chat room, but you called in to defend your position. So I give you credit for that.
All right.
All right, take care. Thanks so much for the call. The rest of you on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. Oh, man, our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. If you're just tuning in, I announced right at the top of the last hour, this is an amazing thing. Sunday, Steve Kane and I are making a personal appearance with Governor Ron DeSantis. We can't tell you where yet. We'll be able to tell you tomorrow, okay? But Steve Kane and I will be making an appearance with Governor Ron DeSantis, the greatest governor ever. And I'm allowed to tell you that much, but I can't tell you the specifics until tomorrow. What do they say in the media? It's been embargoed. There's some reasons why, but I can tell you that. I'm very excited about it, a little giddy this morning about it. I got some goosebumps going on. We'll be right back with your calls. What do they say in the media? It's been embargoed. There's some reasons why, but I can tell you that. I'm very excited about a little giddy this morning about it. I got some goosebumps going on. We'll be right back with your calls.
Wake up and smell the truth.
Steve Kane Show. Hey, Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Is there a calculator that can't compute in your kitchen drawer? Recycle it at Staples. A shredder that won't shred under your bed? Or a collection of cables cluttering up your closet? Recycle them now at Staples. With Staples Free Tech Take Back, we'll recycle your old tech free. Plus, rewards members get $5 back in rewards. So if you have modems, mice, and mobile phones making...
No, that William was a good call. You got to give a guy credit. He called in, stuck to his story. He's got more guts than most liberals.
Dr. Appleton, how'd you do it?
I treated your knee pain with laser. Treatment is simple and no side effect. I have robotic lasers that have a wonderful effect on joint pain. These are all FDA approved.
Now, you don't just help with knees. Tell the listeners what other areas you can help them with.
Any joint I can do. Shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica, stenosis, arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, from the foot all the way up to the neck.
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician, and with the laser away pain system, there's no injections, no surgery, and no drugs. He's open 6 days a week, and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for your free
Steve Kane Show.
954-973-0710.
Hold on.
954-973-0710. And make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio.
Alexa rocks, and now so do you.
How can I help you?
Just say, Alexa, play Oldie South Florida.
Okay, playing it now.
Now, you've got the good time oldies, 95.3 and 96.9.
The Steve Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is right around the corner. We leave January 28th on the Celebrity Apex at Fort Lauderdale. First stop, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Then Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. And then St. Kitts. With exclusive events just for our group. Fine dining together every night. Cocktail parties.
The woman has been identified.
Where?
Activities, and a whole
With the receipt? No.
No. He knows who she is, but she won't let him see.
Yeah, yeah.
I blocked this group space during COVID, during the height of the pandemic, so we got some incredible deals.
Call Ian right now and lock in your cabin. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. Join us as we celebrate our president, Donald Trump. Make your reservation right now. 561-244-5779. No liberal stowaways allowed.
Ready to get fired up? Just 60 seconds and you'll be racing for the phone. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Are you in pain? You don't have to be. Call Dr. Philip Appleton. Talk to him about his laser away pain system. It works. I know it works because I'm a patient. And over a month ago, Dr. Appleton rid me of my knee pain that I have suffered from for years. But he does more than just knee pain. His laser away pain system works with arthritis, bursitis, work injuries, sports injuries, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, post-surgical pain, neck pain, back injuries, back pain. That's right. Sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia. A lot of things I can't pronounce. If you're suffering with pain, herniated discs. Steve's going in for his hip pain next week. By the way, Dr. Appleton is open 6 days a week. That's right, he has Saturday hours. Appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome because Dr. Appleton knows that when you're in pain, you need help, you need relief, you need to rid yourself of that pain today. And laser away pain, no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime, completely painless. Just relax while it's going on. It's pretty cool. While it was going on, I was just in my phone, reading some things, reading the news on my phone for a few minutes. That was it. And when you call Dr. Appleton, I'm going to give you the number. Make sure you mention you heard about him on the radio, because if you do, you get that free consultation. By the way, if you have x-rays from an injury or something and you have them, bring them with you. He'll look over your x-rays as well as part of the free consultation. His number is 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call, 954-973-0710, and say bye-bye to your pain. All right, there's one opening on our busy board of phones at 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Jupiter.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, I'm talking about Herschel Walker and this lady. She kept a receipt for 13 years. I don't believe that. Who keeps a receipt for 13?
First off, they don't give receipts for abortions. I've had many women call this program since this story broke, and it's a painful thing for them to talk about. They don't get a receipt for it.
And even if they did, would you keep it if it's such a painful event? I don't think so.
You know, that receipt is worth millions of dollars. That woman, if this receipt that was reported exists, the Herschel Walker abortion receipt, with a copy of the check apparently she claims to have that check and that receipt, she could be worth $5 to $10 million by Friday.
It's a winning. That receipt is a winning lottery ticket.
It's better because it's 100% going to pay.
Yeah. No way anybody kept a receipt for 13 years. It's all that.
And you know, the Democrats would pay for it. They would do it by setting up a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign and funnel the money that way. But they don't. They want Herschel Walker out, and he's gained in the polls. He's now in first place in the polls. I don't know. I think you could make $5 million easy, maybe even 10, with that receipt. The Senate is, only a third of the Senate is up. And if that receipt would be very powerful because it would make a lot of people think Herschel Walker was lying about the whole thing, and it would cost him votes.
I agree with you.
All right, Jupiter, take care. All right, Jupiter is a town in Palm Beach County, not another planet. It's where Don Jr. lives. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Augustino from Georgia.
Hey, Augustino.
And I'm going to tell you something. I'm getting so sick of that Warnock guy because he's supposed to be a pastor, okay, but he believes in abortion. I don't know. That seems like that's incredible, but that's the way it is. Herschel, I know Herschel. He's a great guy.
Well, let me ask you, because you're in Georgia, and that means you've got access to local Georgia media. Have you seen this woman on television or in the newspapers in Georgia with this abortion receipt?
No, I've only seen some woman that's a black-haired lady just saying she has a.
Now, well, where's the receipt? The reporter that broke the story claims to have seen the receipt.
Tell me where it's at. Listen, like you said, it could be worth millions and millions of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, where's the receipt?
That's right. They haven't even tried to fake one, like with the AWOL paperwork from George W. Bush back in the 2004 election. Remember that? They had a document. If you remember that, this was unbelievable. They claimed that there was a document that showed that President G.W. Bush had gone AWOL, absence without leave, from the Air National Guard, and they found this retired colonel that was his superior officer back then, who found a document in a box in the garage that he filed paperwork that George W. Bush was absent without leave. And Dan Rather went on television with this on the CBS Evening News, and people looked at the document, and it was written up on a Word document. It was a Word document. Microsoft Word didn't exist in the 1970s, right? And they got outed on that. So they if there was a receipt, we would have seen it by now.
Been seeing it. I don't know. I don't guess you've seen it either.
I'd like to see it. I mean, I'd still defend Herschel Walker. The receipt, to me, if it exists and the whole story is true, is meaningless. Like I said, Warnock wants to pay for everyone's abortions. So even if the story were true and he paid for an abortion 13 years ago, Herschel Walker, you're going to let somebody take that Senate seat who wants to pay for everyone's abortion? It makes no sense.
Can you tell me something? How can he be a pastor and agree with abortion?
Yeah, you can't. You can't. You cannot be a Democrat politician and be a Christian. You just can't.
He'll be his wife. Do you know that? He's also...
Really? I don't know. I heard something about running over with a car. I don't know, Augustine. Hey, thanks for the call, man. Take care. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, you're really right spot on about the receipt thing. His name wouldn't be on it, so that wouldn't prove anything. The only thing that could would be a DNA test.
Well, that's 13 years ago. That'd be difficult, unless she kept the DNA.
That's right. So I want to know, was she paid by the Democrats to come up with this to hurt Herschel Walker? I believe that more than they have a receipt.
What was that show on Showtime with that actor? Yeah, there was a show, I cannot remember the name of the show, on Showtime a few years ago, and it was, the name of the show was the first and last name of the of the main character, and what he worked in L.A. and he cleaned up dirty laundry for celebrities in Los Angeles. In the very first episode, he had to clean up the laundry from an NBA star. And this was taken out of the headlines, this story. This woman, and a lot of women do this, they have sex with professional athletes, and this woman he had used a condom, but she had saved the condom so she could impregnate herself later. and then go after him for child support. And you know, when it comes to professional athletes, women, they do all kinds of things.
And when you become famous in America, and I don't agree with it, but you lose your privacy and everything is scrutinized unless you're a Democrat.
Ray Donovan. Yeah, that was Ray Donovan, by the way. Very good show. At least the first couple seasons. Yeah, Ray Donovan. The first episode of Ray Donovan on Showtime did that. Yeah. No, you're right, Jeff. And like I said, even if it's 100% true, it was 13 years ago. And I'm not going to give some liberal Democrat who wants everyone to have an abortion a seat because something happened 13 years ago. You gotta balance. 1 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Florida's longest running radio show. Indeed it is. On the radio since 1977. Callers on hold, stand by. 888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. We'll be back right after this.
Bringing the heat to your radio every morning. It's the Steve Kane Show on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning at 10 a.m. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast. Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time Oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
The Palm Beach commute looking great this morning for 95 and the Turnpike. We're accident-free, moving up to speed from Boca Raton to Jupiter. We're seeing some more volume on Atlantic Avenue heading westbound toward 441. The surface streets are crash-free. We're also seeing some more volume on Forest Hill Boulevard east and westbound passing Military Trail. In Broward County, things are all clear as well for 95 and the Turnpike. 595 is also up to speed. This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. When your ride fires on all cylinders, so do you. That's why Napa is on a mission to keep you in motion. With nearly 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores and over 17,000 Napa Auto Part Care Centers, the Napa network has everything you need to get up and go. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Brian Craig here. How would you like a free doorbell camera? That's right, a free doorbell camera. I have one and you will love one. The first 40 listeners who call 1-833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects with your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. You can see your home right from the palm of your hands no matter where you are. And that's not all. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 listeners to call 1-833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's right now for this limited time offer. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050.
This segment of the Steve Kane Show is brought to you by I Will Advisors. Seniors, medical open enrollment is approaching. Do you know what Medicare options are available to you? Call Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080, and she will answer all your Medicare questions. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Brian Craig here. I've suffered with massive pain in my knee for years, but not anymore. It's all gone, thanks to Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain system.
23rd District, okay. And he's running to be my congressman.
How'd you do it?
Well, I treated your knee pain with laser. Treatment is simple and no side effect. I have robotic lasers that have a wonderful effect on joint pain.
Yeah.
These are all FDA approved.
Now, you don't just help with knees. Tell the listeners what other areas you can help them with.
Any joint I can do, shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica, stenosis, arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, from the foot all the way up through the neck.
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician, and with the laser away pain
I'm
system,
headed out of the
there's
office
no
right now.
injections,
We're
no surgery,
just
and
Chris on
no
the way out.
drugs. He's open 6 days a week,
headed
and
to do
same-day
some more
appointments are
neighborhood
available.
canvassing. We
Call right
knocked
now
on
for your free
approximately 30,000
consultation.
doors. We picked up another 10,000 pieces delivered through Monday morning. And by the time this is all done, we're going to hit at least 40,000 doors that we've knocked on. We think on the ground the results.
Anne-Marie's Pizza and Wine Company. Family owned, family operated. Where Grandma Carrie Ann herself is in the kitchen. Amazing pizza, sizzling Philly cheesesteaks, salads, pasta, subs, and much more. Live music, patio seating.
Hey, Cynthia. Welcome. Good morning.
Ladies' Night every Wednesday. Mention Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 and receive a 15% discount.
Ray Donovan. That's right. First episode of Ray Donovan. Yeah, it's right on the memo of the check for abortion. I think he even wrote the trimester down.
You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
No appointment necessary.
The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
Yes. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve will be joining us after the next break. Callers on hold, stand by. And I was listening to the recorded message for Spin Car Wash. You know, they wash my cars, and they do a great job, man. I tell you, my cars look like right out of the showroom after Spin Car Wash does their magic. They wax the car, scrub the tires, wash underneath. The vacuums not only are free, they're incredibly high-powered vacuums, which you need in that carpet of your car to get everything out. They have 6 locations, 3 in Broward, 3 in Dade, and I go to the location on Commercial Boulevard, which is just east of Dixie, on the south side of Commercial next to the Wendy's. But if you want to find their other locations, go to their website, spincarwash.com. They're open 7 days a week, 7 to 9 p.m., 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and check out their monthly membership where you can get all that huge wash of your car, the wax, everything, and get that as many times as you want over the month. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's a great deal, and ask them about that. So go to spincarwash.com for details on all their locations. And remember, every day they have discounts on their top washes. If you're just going in for one wash and don't want the monthly membership, that's okay. They have huge discounts each and every day, 7 days a week. spincarwash.com. All right. Before I go to the phones, let me play this one clip. I meant to play this earlier because this is just so ridiculous. Have you seen this guy who's running for mayor out in Los Angeles? He's a white guy. He's a billionaire. And, of course, in liberal circles, you know, white men are the problem with everything in our society, aren't they? Yeah, white is bad. And they have this debate. This is the televised debate. I probably should have queued it up. There it is. Okay, I got it queued up. His name is Rick Caruso. He's running for mayor in Los Angeles against a black woman. And this is a televised debate. And he wanted to make sure that everyone watching at home in Los Angeles knows he's not white. Because to be white is a negative. Listen to this.
And this question goes for the both of you. The next mayor of Los Angeles will be either an African-American woman or a white man.
I'm Italian.
Italian-American.
Thank you. That's Latin. Thank you.
Latin.
Oh my goodness. He's Latin. He's Italian. I don't know. I'll throw this out to you in the listening audience. You know, my wife's Italian. That's right. My wife's Italian. And she's white, and she'll tell you she's white. And I've known a lot of Italians. Have you ever heard an Italian tell you they were not white? I know we have Italians in this audience. Are you white? This guy running for mayor in L.A., he says he's not. He's a non-white Italian. He's Latin. I tell you what, liberals are just wackadoodles, especially in California. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. Oh my goodness. 1-888-465-2631. I don't make up the news. I just share with you what's going on out there. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Come on, conservative Doug.
Doug, do you happen to be Italian?
I am.
Oh, are you white?
Well, it's funny you say that. My black friend is almost as white as I am. I said, I don't know if you're really black or from black, but joking around.
Well, what does it say on your Florida driver's license? Does it say Italian or white?
It says white.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this guy running for mayor in Los Angeles, like you, he's Italian. He says he's not white.
Jesus, they're so nutty out there. You know, nothing surprises me in California. These people are wacko, man. It's fun. That state should become just its own country and just forget about them, man. They're nuts. Anyway, one of the things I think really great that you're going to have an appearance with great government, man. That's really.
Oh yeah, let me tell people. Now we cannot give you the details of where this is yet. We'll be able to do that tomorrow. But Steve and I are doing a personal appearance with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And we just learned about this. They asked us, I'm serious. Yeah, I got a call. Can you and Steve Kane make it? Are you kidding me? I thought it was a prank call when they asked if we could, you know. I mean, that was amazing. Yeah, but Steve Kane and I will be with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and we'll give you all the details tomorrow.
Can't wait to find out.
It is here. You'll be able to go. It's here in South Florida.
Anyway.
Yeah. I know, isn't it? I'm excited. I got every time I say it, I get goosebumps.
And that's impressive. They're asking you.
I know they're asking me. I know it's either impressive or desperate. I don't know. They're asking me.
No, he's not desperate. He just knows that you have a lot of.
Let me ask you. You know, if you were me, what would you say to Ron DeSantis? Like if I had if I can ask him one thing or say one thing to. By the way, I'm going to wear. A listener gave me a shirt that I wear sometimes that I'm going to wear when I meet Governor Ron DeSantis. It's his face on it, and it says Top Gov, Ron DeSantis. I'm going to wear that. Yeah. What would you say if you were me when you meet Governor Ron DeSantis, the greatest governor ever?
I would. That's exactly what I would say. Man, you're the greatest governor ever. Thank you for not disappointing us. Doing a fantastic job. We're looking forward to seeing you be president eventually.
Oh yeah, the second MAGA president. Oh man.
Without a doubt. The last thing I just want to say, I know you got a lot of calls. Herschel Walker, whether there's a receipt or not, this woman is, in music business, they're called a groupie. You know, these women are so easy, they line up to try to say that they...
Well, there's a lot to be said. A lot of women, try to get pregnant on purpose with celebrities and athletes because that's their ship coming in. They're taken care of at least for the next 18 years.
Without a doubt. So what I'm saying is, even if there is a receipt, this woman is not just some woman who only has sex with one guy. They're probably having sex with a whole group.
Dan, how could you determine he was the father?
That's why there probably is no receipt.
And you know what? If a guy is dating a woman and she comes to him, okay, and says, I had an abortion a week ago, and I'm short on cash. Can you help me with my rent, my electric bill, my car payment? I had this abortion last week. And you give her money. How is that a statement against you if you're helping her out after the fact? It's not like he would have taken her.
Exactly. The guy's a super rich guy, and apparently a nice guy too, helping this woman out rather than tell her, hey, listen, I don't remember you. Get the hell out.
Exactly.
This is great. All right.
All right. Take care. All right. Take care. All right. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I don't know if you're hearing in the background, you're hearing a lot of text messages I'm getting in the background. I don't know if my mic's picking them up, but I'm getting text messages from all kinds of people. Some of them, I don't even know how some of these people have my cell phone number to text me, asking me where we are going to be with Governor Ron DeSantis. And it will be revealed tomorrow. And I know it seems strange, but we are not permitted to say where until tomorrow for some, I don't know what the reasons are, really. They just told me can't say until tomorrow. It has something to do with the organization and setting everything up, contacting VIPs and things like this. But believe me, we'll tell you all about it tomorrow. In fact, it's such a big deal to us. We were going to be off tomorrow. Had a medical thing I had to do with my wife tomorrow, and we've rescheduled that for November after the election, because we just learned about this thing with Governor Ron DeSantis, Steve and I, and we got to be here tomorrow to tell you all about it because it's Sunday. I can tell you that much. It is Sunday, but I can't tell you where. But so we're going to be here tomorrow, and not only that, I mean, we had made a big to-do taking tomorrow off, and it's personally I had to take this day off for this procedure my wife had scheduled, that we rescheduled, and it was nice of my wife to do that. But we are coming, and not only that, the radio station, Rich Allen, who runs the board here, he came in on the weekend and put together an entire best of show for the entire show tomorrow. And then I get the call, can you and Steve appear with Governor Ron DeSantis on Sunday? And after I verified everything, because I thought I was being punked, and I verified it with someone. I'm going to tell you who I talked to, but I verified it with someone, and it blew my mind. So that best of show that you would have heard tomorrow will probably be the Friday that we're on the cruise in January show now. But man, I'm so excited. All right, listen, we're going to take the last break of the hour, come back with more calls, a lot more to talk about. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, AOC was confronted by liberals. Never happened to her before. Listen to that after the break. 2631. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, AOC was confronted by liberals. Never happened to her before. Listen to that after the break.
Polarizing.
Steve Kane Show. Wait, no, this is amazing.
Affiliated, working with you and Steve for so many years. I don't even know how long it's been since I've been calling in and a sponsor on your show. But one of the things I was thinking about is through all these years, all the people who've come in, and I'm just talking about the Medicaid right now, not even the estate planning, but just on the Medicaid. I mean, with the Medicaid planning, we're helping people avoid the cost of long-term care. And if we were to add up the amount of money that people have saved, all these families over the years, we have to be talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars that people have saved, not funding down.
Can't say. Yeah, I turned down the volume for the text. You can hear the text?
Shiny and strong and healthy and hydrated. Your hair can do it all. So get to Ulta Beauty's gorgeous hair event happening now to see how you can take your hair to a whole new level. Discover beauty steals of 50% off must-haves from brands like Living Proof and Redken, and explore exciting new arrivals from Olaplex and Dyson. These deals won't last long, so hurry. This event ends October 22nd. Shop in-store, online, or pick up today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
Smarter than 95,000.
All right, here we go. Yes, we are back. Oh man, how exciting. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. You know, in the last hour, Andrea from Pennsylvania called in, and I had recalled, I asked her about it, and she told us last year at Christmas time, she has employees, she bought MyPillow bathrobes for all of her employees that she gave them at their Christmas party. And let me tell you, all the MyPillow products are high quality. They are, and they're great. And I have most every one of them. And a lot of people ask me, oh, does Mike Lindell send you that stuff? No, I've bought all of it myself, and I don't mind doing it. I want to support Mike Lindell, and with our promo code, which I use when I buy things from MyPillow, Kane at checkout, I take advantage of all these great deals. But one of the most sought-after MyPillow items are, of course, the MyPillow bathrobes. They make great Christmas gifts for whoever is on your Christmas gift-giving list. Andrea, you heard her talk, got them for her employees. What a great gift. And I'm sure they still enjoy those robes each and every day. They're just great robes. Mom, dad, the kids, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever is on your gift-giving list, they'll love a MyPillow bathrobe. They come in styles for both men and women, in both light and heavy, a whole bunch of new colors. And they're being offered right now with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at the lowest price ever, half off. Pretty good deal. And I've been talking about the MyPillow bathrobes all week long because I know they're going to run out of sizes and colors. It's going to happen. This happened last year, way before Christmas. So you want to start that Christmas shopping now. Get your MyPillow bathrobe. They're half off at lowest price ever. You're not going to be able to get them as we get closer to Christmas. They're the hottest Christmas item at MyPillow.com, or those MyPillow bathrobes. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, Kane. All right, now, I am getting text messaged and emails from all kinds of people, and I'm getting responses on two things involving our appearance Sunday, Steve Kane and myself, with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. One, people are telling, come on, Brian, I'm your friend. Tell me where. I cannot tell anyone where until tomorrow's show, okay? In fact, I'm so serious about that. That's why we're coming in tomorrow to do the show live. I had to take off, and I'm coming in on a day off. Because we could not tell you today. If I could tell you, I would tell you today, and then tomorrow I would have recorded a promo that would have run throughout the entire Best Of show. But that we can't tell you till tomorrow, so we got to be here live tomorrow to do that. So I can't tell anyone, even my friends, until tomorrow, okay? Because if I tell one of you, you'll have it on social media. And then it'll be out. Then I'll be in trouble. But if you're here in South Florida, you'll be able to go. Okay, and it's free. It's going to be a free event, and you'll be very excited. And Steve and I'll both be there with the governor. But I said, I asked Doug if you could say one thing to the governor, what would it be? He didn't really know. He said thank you. That was good. He was a little hesitant, but I've been getting messages from multiple people who have said they would say the same thing to him. Thank you. And, Ron DeSantis saved the state of Florida from Andrew Gillum. Andrew Gillum, if he would have won, if he would have become the governor, this state would be in a state of collapse right now after the COVID lockdowns and shutdowns. It is very possible we'd still be locked down. if Andrew Gillum. And if you remember what happened to Andrew Gillum after he lost the election, they found him in a Miami Beach motel room on the floor, naked, in his own vomit, and in the bed above him was a gay male prostitute, and the male prostitute had illegal drugs all over the bed around him, and he OD'd. That would have been our governor. Can you imagine? If Ron DeSantis had not run and was not endorsed by President Trump, and this hurricane, can you believe he got that bridge open to Sanibel Island already? Who would have thought? They said it was going to take months. He did it in less than 2 weeks. Yeah, so I think thank you is probably the best thing anyone could say to Ron DeSantis, because he saved Florida more than once. He's the greatest governor we've ever had. And we've had some good governors, I got to tell you. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is the number. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jessica, West Palm Beach.
Hey, Jessica.
Good morning. I listen to your show every morning on my way to the train station.
Oh, great. What train do you take?
Lake Worth.
Oh, okay. Take the Tri-Rail?
I do.
Oh, I was going to ask you if you took the Bright Line, if it ever killed anyone while you were on it, but the Tri-Rail...
No. I took the Bright Line one time when the Tri-Rail was broken down, and I had to drive to the other.
I don't know why the Tri-Rail... I've been on Tri-Rail, which is very nice, by the way. It is very nice. I've been on the Tri-Rail many, many times, but I don't understand. The Tri-Rail goes pretty fast. It doesn't kill people.
It doesn't kill people. It goes fast, and guess what? I don't get stuck in traffic on I-95, so it's the...
Did you know that this is true, I made a YouTube video about this. The Bright Line is responsible for killing more people than any other train in America today. I know. So anyway, what's the reason for your call today? You didn't call to talk about trains.
Well, I know. Well, the reason that I called is because you're lucky that you're going to see Ron DeSantis. I wish I could go. Please, tomorrow, say where you guys...
Oh, I will.
And maybe I just stop by. But you know what? There's two things I would like to say to him. One, I would like to say to him to thank him for funding the Breast Cancer Foundation in the state of Florida. He did that. He did that about a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
For the breast cancer, a year and a half ago. Because of his funding, I was able to get funds to go through all my treatment process.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, I had the Obamacare insurance that was a terrible insurance for me, and because of my family situation, I was able to qualify for the funding. The state of Florida has a great funding for women that have been diagnosed with breast cancer, okay? So tell them to please find out about all these benefits that breast cancer survivors have, okay?
Yeah, that's amazing. The thing about, governor, we've had very good governors. Even Jeb Bush, who's a disgrace now, right? But he was a very good governor. Rick Scott, who's our senator, was the governor before Ron DeSantis. He was a very good governor. But Ron DeSantis is just perfect. He's a perfect governor.
Yes, he is. The second thing that I will say to him is to thank him for not forcing parents to vaccinate their children.
Yeah. And Florida was never shut down. We were open the entire time, unlike the rest of the country. Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, I have an old child, and I was so concerned about this. I'm like, I don't want to vaccinate my son. I don't. Going to be forced to vaccinate your children. To me, that was heaven. I love him.
No, I do too. He's awesome. All right, thanks for the call. And hopefully we'll see you. We'll tell you tomorrow where it's at. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you today. And no guessing. We're not going to do guessing games on the air. If people start guessing, I'll have to dump it. Because I don't want to give people an idea that it's here or it's there. I will tell you tomorrow exactly where and what time. All right, I'll give you all the details tomorrow. All right, and I just can't contain myself till tomorrow. I got to tell you today. How could I keep that a secret? It's very exciting. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
Hey, Brian, listen, congratulations. I think that's so cool. You got a personal invitation from the governor. Did you happen to catch, I think it's Dave Rubin's podcast where Bill Maher was on?
I saw some of it, you know, and I didn't watch. He was sitting in Bill Maher's living room. Bill Maher was smoking a big Cheech and Chong sized joint, and laughing, and Dave Rubin was doing a little too much sucking up to him. I just no. You know, Bill Maher is an atheist, and I'm not interested in anything an atheist has to say. I think atheism is an evil belief system, and I just no. But anyway, you saw it. You saw more than I did.
Well, I saw a few minutes, and what he did is that he wants to he didn't just say, I want to relocate to Florida. He says, I want to relocate to Governor DeSantis' Florida.
Yeah, but he was high. He was high, though.
I know, but I'll take it from that guy, and he's a black guy. So.
Did he say why? Was it the taxes?
No, he didn't go into detail. I think he's just disgusted with the whole situation out there. I mean, there's Mr. LA guy, and he's just disgusted, and he seemed to have a minute of clarity. He says, I really want to get out of here and go to Florida.
You know, he was Bill Maher is a very talented guy, and it's too bad that he's gotten so lefty in his politics. You know, I was in the studio audience with my wife many years ago for his old show on ABC, Politically Incorrect, and I remember when we were driving to the studio where they did it. They filmed it next to The Price. We wanted to go to The Price is Right, but we couldn't get tickets, so we went to see Bill Maher. And we saw Bill Maher at the red light on the way there, and of course he was driving his convertible, so everybody could see who he was, you know, as he's driving through Hollywood, you know. But he was in a movie before he was a big star. Bill Maher was in a movie with Mr. T and Gary Busey called DC Cab. Yeah, Bill Maher's he was one of the cab drivers.
Oh, wow, okay.
You know, but let me tell you, I don't have anything against Dave Rubin. He lives here in Florida. He's a gay MAGA conservative guy, and I agree with him a lot of the times, and I see what he's doing. He's trying to make some inroads in with these Hollywood leftists that look like they're on the cusp of becoming a conservative.
Dave Rubin was originally, I believe, grew up in California. Was he run for governor of California?
I don't know about that. I know he's a recent transplant to Florida from California. Yeah, and he's a good guy, and he's got, you know, but Bill Maher, if Bill Maher came out as a conservative, his career would be over. He may do that when he retires, but he won't do it he won't get these celebrity people on his show if he did that, even if he wanted to.
He's Mr. You know, lefty in LA of all places too. But you know, I see him kind of edging more close to the center and that. But when he said Governor DeSantis as far as a whole,
yeah, but just remember he was high. He was very high when he said that. I'd like to see that interview with him not high. You know what I mean?
Might have a different story.
He'd have a different story. That's right. Hey, thanks for the call, man. Take care. All right. Well, thank you. It is. I know it is. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this. That's right. Hey, thanks for the call, man. Take care. All right.
Congratulations, so that's great invite.
Well, thank you. It is. I know it is. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
The new Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 is here. Just let me hear some of that rock and roll music. WWNN Pompano Beach, a VCMG live radio station. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Hey everybody, taking the umbrella today. Widespread scattered showers and storms are in the mix, especially later this afternoon and evening as the cool front approaches South Florida. Today's highs a breeze. I'm WCBS 25. First morning, you're all
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening.
Well, I share the DeSantis event on YouTube. On YouTube, it's hard to say. The private portion, I can't, for sure, 100% sure, because there's a private thing for us that I won't be able to show. But when when the rally's going on, one of the reasons I might not be able to do it is they're going to be blasting music, which you can't play on YouTube. So. But the private portion, I have already been told that I can't shot people.
What you're going to hear from the committee is a summation of their evidence, some new evidence of how Donald Trump set in motion the events that culminated in the attack on the U.S. Capitol.
ABC Jonathan Carr. Russia couldn't veto the entire world. The UN General Assembly voted 143 to 5 with 35 abstentions. Condemn Russia's illegal annexation of 4 Ukrainian regions and to demand its immediate reversal. If the resolution had gone through the Security Council, Russia would have vetoed. Government reports on retail inflation last month and later this morning. Economists expecting September inflation to hit 8.1%, down from 8.3% in August. This is ABC News.
Every day, I bet your floors have shoe grime and tech grime and invisible grime.
Invisible grime?
Yep, the kind of grime that you only notice when you look at your socks. So get Swiffer Sweeper Wet, the cleaning power of a mop with the convenience of a wipe. Sweeper heavy-duty wet pads come prepped with a cleaning solution that traps and locks dirt and grime deep inside the pad. Even dirt and grime you can't see, for the clean floors you want, anytime you want it. Swiffer
No, we're coming back.
wet pads.
Just call in 888-GO-KANE-1. Hello, you'll thank us later. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Oh, man, it's just an exciting day. All right, now let me get to some of this. Call is on hold. Stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. By the way, Saturday, Steve and I will be with Mike at Eagle Eye Protection Service for our concealed weapons permit course. You are all invited. So call Mike at Eagle Eye Protection Services and join us, 561-723-6191. I know a lot of you have already, and this is a good thing. You know, you're going to get concealed weapon permit training like you've never had before. If you've taken the class in the past with someone else, this is an incredible opportunity for just an amazing refresher course. If you're new to Florida, come. And bring your spouses, men and women. Bring your wife, bring your husband, your adult children, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. You know, take advantage of this opportunity and join us. Mike at Eagle Eye Protection Services number I'm going to give to you now rings directly to his phone, 561-723-6191. I'm very excited to get my concealed weapons permit. People have been telling me for years to get it. I've put it off, and now I'm doing it. 561-723-6191. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I want to get to a couple of the audio pieces I have. The first one is AOC. Did any of you see this? Have they shown this on television yet? AOC got confronted by a liberal at an event she was doing that did not have very many people at it, I must say, but some very vocal opponents of AOC were there and giving her some grief.
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, but you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because there are some war hawks, okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives.
There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb. You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice.
Okay, well, yeah, you hear that at the end. Okay, now, boy, AOC confronted like that has not happened. I mean, she's had conservatives, you know, say things to her, but she's not had her own. And she came in as this young, hipster, democratic socialist, and she's like the Mary Tyler Moore character. She's going to change the world and make it her way and everything. and her own base of support see her as a traitor now. She betrayed all of them. And, you know, and it's so ridiculous. You know, she's the author of that Green New Deal, right? We got to protect the planet. Yet she's supporting funding to escalate a war that does all kinds of environmental damage, and with the nuclear component that could happen even without the nuclear part of the war in Ukraine with Russia. The environmental impact of the bombs exploding and everything else, that's not very good for the climate, is it? But the nuclear bombs that could find their way to detonation over there, well, what does that do so far as climate change, AOC, over in Europe? And this guy yelling, see, this is something I'm really curious about. How organic is that? You know, that thing with Tulsi Gabbard at the end. You know, one thing we talked about on the show yesterday, which was pretty heated show yesterday on Tulsi Gabbard, but one thing we didn't really talk about too much in regards to Tulsi Gabbard, and I don't want to get sidetracked on Tulsi Gabbard again today, but I do want to say a couple things about her. We didn't talk too much about things like that happening. Whether or not Tulsi Gabbard is the real deal or a Trojan horse, that was the debate we had, and that'll continue. We'll see her true colors at some point, and I believe I'll be proven right. But what she's doing in the short term is causing a major divide among the activist wing of the Democrat Party base. And this thing with AOC, I just played a clip of it. It went on for several minutes, and there were multiple people that talked to her just that way, and some of them weren't as nice as that guy. That guy didn't use profanity. That's why I picked his out of all the ones that were yelling at her, because I didn't have time to bleep out all the profanity, but 3 guys screaming at her, I thought that would be a little overdone anyway. I think one makes the point. You know, President Trump in his stump speeches, remember how many times have you heard him say, he doesn't say it anymore because it doesn't apply, but he used to say all the time that you say what you want about Democrats, they always stick together no matter what. Well, that's not the case anymore. And one of the reasons that the Republicans, prior to Trump coming down the escalator, of course, but Republicans of the past have not done as well as they could because Republicans throw each other under the bus all the time. And Republicans now are united. They're united hardcore together. I know we've got our Republican establishment, you know, elected officials and all of those jerks. I'm talking about the Republican base. We're united and we're united behind, of course, President Trump and those he supports and endorses and those who support him, like Ron DeSantis, right? So, you know, the Democrats, to my knowledge, have never been this divided so actively and vocally. You've just never seen it before. And for AOC to get talked to like that, you know, she's an egomaniac. She's a lunatic. And I've seen some videos of her remember who's that conservative comedian that confronted her recently? She doesn't take even the mildest of criticism well. And that video, when you see her on stage, she's sitting there, well, she's standing there. She's standing there in silence holding a microphone, looking at person after person, call her a hypocrite, a fraud, and a liar, and then they're talking about Tulsi Gabbard having the guts that she doesn't. Believe me, that is a painful thing for her ego. She is not used to that. She's not used to people disagreeing with her or criticizing her, not from her own party base. So that's pretty good stuff. Now, since we're going to be with Governor DeSantis in a couple days, Steve Kane and I'm so excited. I still can't believe that. I'm amazed. I cannot wait to tell you the details. Tomorrow's show will tell you when and where. And it's a free event open to the public. You can all attend, okay? If you're out of town, it's worth flying in, I'll tell you that. But have you seen the ad that Florida's First Lady, Casey DeSantis, put out a couple days ago? This is an amazing television ad. I'm going to play it for you here in a moment. But, you know, Ron DeSantis is... I knew that she had worked in the world of television, but I hadn't really thought about it too much. She, heading up this hurricane fundraising charity, is not there in a ceremonial figurehead way. You know, like Hillary Clinton or Kamala would be put in charge of something, it would be just figurehead. Casey DeSantis, She went up there, took questions, she handled the whole thing, and she was great. Then she put out an ad for her husband, our great governor, Ron DeSantis. Listen to this. This is a great ad. It's running all over Florida.
I get asked all the time, who is Ron DeSantis?
Steve Kane Show.
He's the kid who grew up right here in Florida, working his tail off, paying his own way through school, then volunteering to serve in the Navy and deploying to Iraq. He's the man who I fell in love with from the moment we met. And he's the dad of 3 very rambunctious, energetic children. Mamie, our 2-year-old little comedian, Madison, our beautiful, sweet 5-year-old, and Mason, our 4-year-old athlete. But if you want to know who Ron DeSantis really is, when I was diagnosed with cancer and I was facing the battle for my life, he was the dad who took care of my children when I couldn't. He was there to pick me off of the ground when I literally could not stand. He was there to fight for me when I didn't have the strength to fight for myself. That is who Ron DeSantis is.
Wow, that is a powerful ad. That's Florida's First Lady, Casey DeSantis. Oh, man, isn't it? It sure is. Wow. You can't take any of these things for granted. You get too overconfident, and it reduces voter turnout. Everybody needs to show up and vote, no doubt about that. But that ad, and I've seen it on television a lot, it is a very, very powerful, emotional, real ad. And I was so impressed with Ron DeSantis' wife during that press conference. She really knows her stuff, and she's very smart. She's like Carrie Lake. Right? She was a television news person, I think, in Jacksonville. All right, listen, we're going to take our break. When we get back, we'll get to the calls. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take that break and be right back. Don't go anywhere. Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take that break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Kane Show, telling it like it is, whether you like it or not. These 95.3 and 96.9. It's hurricane season, and if you're in the wet spot under ceiling, we had a leak in the roof at the Kane household. We called Tom Laporta. He's the best in the business. Remember, small leaks turn into big leaks.
Steve Kane Show. Alan.
Say, Alexa, play.
Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet.
Oh, by the way, guys, this book is one of our listeners who's in the YouTube chat all the time. Robert Allen Miltenberg, Pool Boy to the Mob. It's available on Amazon. Order it. He's a good MAGA guy, and he worked as a pool boy at a mob-owned hotel in Miami in the 70s, and he wrote that book about it. And the reviews on Amazon are amazing. Pool boy to the mob.
Medical open enrollment is approaching. Do you know what Medicare options are available to you? Call Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080, and she will answer all your Medicare questions. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Grab your coffee and get ready to be triggered. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Yes, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold, stand by. You know, this morning before I left the house, I heard some noise out front. I'm like, what is going on? This happens from time to time. It happened this morning. What is all that noise? It was pretty loud. Made me a little nervous, but not for long, because I took out my phone and used my doorbell camera to see who was at the front door, and it was the Amazon guy. The Amazon guy likes to come into my house really early, and he makes a lot of noise. And it's true. It's true. And even though it was dark, I could see him perfectly on that camera, because that high-definition camera has night vision on it. It's absolutely amazing, you know, the doorbell camera. And you can get one for free. No matter where you're located, I'm going to give you the number to Sloman's. Call them, tell them you heard about them on the radio, and they're going to tell you how you can get your free doorbell camera. I use it all the time. I use it all the time. When I'm home, and even when I am not home. You know, people knock on my door all the time. They're at the door, and I like to know who's there. I don't like to answer the door, and I can talk to them through the door too with the doorbell camera. And no matter where you are, if you're indisposed in the bathroom, or you're out shopping, you can see who is at your door, and they don't know that you're not home, which gives you some. One more time, 833-283-5050. It will change your life, I'm telling you. And it's kind of cool to have, too. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Wellington.
Hey.
Yeah, when you talk to this dentist, you know, if I could intervene on what I would say, you know, I would say I appreciate everything you've done for our state. You know, my wife's a teacher. He's actually given out multiple bonuses to teachers, no matter where you school at. You could be a preschool teacher or a high school teacher, and if you were actively working through COVID, you got an extra $1,000. Plus, he sent another $1,000 right after that for all the teachers in the state that had attendance, you know, that didn't miss days, and then another $400 actually came from him this year for just a bonus to teachers, you know.
You know, I'll tell you, this thing with it's amazing, because I've gotten text messages from friends of mine during the show answering this question. People I never hear from, you know, and they're listening, I guess, telling me what they would say to Ron DeSantis if they had an opportunity to meet him, and you and the other callers have all said the same thing. Thank you. And if you remember when Hillary Clinton lost, remember the Democrats were doing this bizarre thing of anytime they ran into Hillary Clinton, thanking her for what? Slandering and destroying the lives of her husband's sex assault victims? What did she do? When people say thank you, and you've heard it through the calls today, when they say thank you to Ron DeSantis, they have very specific things. You're telling us about bonuses to teachers that you and your wife have benefited from. I had a woman call me in the last hour that said that his increased funding for breast cancer treatments allowed her to get her treatments taken care of because of Ron DeSantis. I'm talking about how he saved us during the COVID lockdowns, what he's done on the West Coast for the hurricanes. I mean, this guy he's a rock star.
The thing that concerns me is, you know, the illegal immigration in this country, and 70% of those people.
Yeah, but look what he's doing, though. They're not so eager to come to Florida anymore because they don't want to get sent away. You know, he's even you know, this effort with Texas and Florida, he's obviously coordinating with Governor Abbott on what they're doing with the buses and the planes, and it's amazing. You know, most governors just sit back with their feet up on their desk and don't do much. This guy is the hardest working governor I've ever seen. He has a press event every day, you know. Hey, listen, Vic, I got to run, Vince, but thanks for the call. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, it's Greg Sam.
Oh, yes.
You can call me Greg too consistently, but
Callers don't give themselves nicknames. Yeah, all the nicknames that callers have had over the years, Steve and I give the callers the handles. Callers don't give themselves the handles.
I love it. What I would ask Governor DeSantis is, do you want to be our next president? And you know he does, and he should be. Donald Trump is a polarizing individual. He lost. Do you believe?
I'm not going to get... So what you would say to Ron DeSantis, are you going to oppose Donald Trump? That's what you would say to him, really? Well, that does... hold on a second here. Of course he would like to be. You know, if Donald Trump were in the White House right now, we'd be talking about nominating him. There's no doubt about it. But it's... Well, there's other ones, Greg. Oh, my goodness. Do you guys really think Greg, too, is a DeSantis supporter? I think he's if I were to give him he doesn't like Greg. The reason we call him Greg, too, is because there was another Greg who used to call the show, and he was a disaster of a caller. You know, I don't want to get too sidetracked into him, but some of you remember, and he liked to call me off the air in these drunken rages, saying vile things to me and harassing me during the show. And we had two Gregs. He was Greg 1, some called him Drunk Greg, and then we had him calling in. So to keep the two separate in people's minds, we started calling him Greg 2. But the other Greg is not around with us anymore. So he doesn't like being called Greg 2 because Greg 1's not around anymore. I think maybe Lincoln Project Greg would be more appropriate. I don't know if I was coming up with a new nickname for Greg 2. What do you guys think? Lincoln Project Greg. I like that. That it's fitting, and it's what he's really all about. I saw this story in the Daily Caller today. I'm not going to read the story, just the headline. Montgomery County School District saw a 582% increase in reported gender nonconforming students. A 582% increase. Now, that could mean they had 0 and now they have 5, but I think the numbers are a little higher than that. Is there really a mass increase in the number of non-conforming gender students in the school district? Or is this just like a fad? Like parachute pants were a brief fad when I was in high school, middle school. A lot of people that are young that experiment with gender nonconformity or gayness, it's just there's an option they didn't have available to them that now is there for them. And if you see most of the people that you see all over social media, on the TikTok and everything else, that are gender nonconforming, they've taken the place. When I was in school, we used to always have the goth kids. You guys remember the goth kids? Black clothes, black makeup, black hair, they dye their hair black, they'd wear black nail polish. Guys and girls, remember the goth kids? They don't really have goth kids anymore. They have gender nonconforming kids now. They're the new goth kids. And one thing about the goth kids, and it was so obvious even then, even other kids knew, they were the outcast. So before they could be personally made an outcast by the rest of the student body, they went goth and made themselves outcast. You know what I'm talking about? And I think there's a lot of that going on with all this gender nonconformity that you see in this increase. There's other reasons too, but it's like they're the new goth. Is goth even still a thing? I don't know. I'm getting up there. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after our bottom of the hour break. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after our bottom of the hour break.
Tired of boring mornings? We serve controversy with your morning coffee. The Steve Kane Show. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
Be right back, guys.
The rest of the expressways are accident-free at this time, but we're still seeing slow traffic on 95 north and southbound approaching Lantana Road. Also
Steve
further
Kane
southbound
Show.
passing Atlantic Avenue. Usual delays to the north on 95 between
Be
Deerfield
right
Beach
back,
and
guys.
Boca. We still have a multi-vehicle crash in Green Acres on Haverhill Road at Melaleuca Lane, Jogger to Belvedere Road, and another crash on Hall Boulevard at Citrus Grove Boulevard. This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.org. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West Del Rey and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back. And women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet him, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Denise Hair Salon, one of the trendiest salons in Brooklyn, is officially in Boca. Known for its professionalism and uniquely talented staff, we're excited to offer a free consultation for every new client. We're looking forward to welcoming you to our new location. Book your appointment today and get 20% off any hair service.
Located at 7600 North Federal Highway in Boca, or check us out on IG at Denise Hair Salon and call 561-826-8704.
That's Denise with the Z.
The Steve Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is right around the corner. We leave January 28th on the Celebrity Apex out of Fort Lauderdale. First stop, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Then Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. And then St. Kitts. With exclusive events just for our group. Fine dining together every night, cocktail parties, shore excursions, onboard activities, and a whole lot more. On the line is Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. Ian, why should listeners book right now?
I blocked this group space during COVID, during the height of the pandemic, so we got some incredible deals.
Call Ian right now and lock in your cabin. 561-244-5779.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Yeah, what's up?
I just wanted to see what you were doing with DeSantis. You're going to be at an event? Or?
Yeah. I can't say where I'm on the YouTube. I can't say where. That's what they... Yeah. Yeah. See, people keep wanting to know, where's it at? I'll tell you after. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Yes, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. Someone came in during the break, Dean, the afternoon guy, and said, where are you guys going to be with our governor, Ron DeSantis? I said, I can't tell you until tomorrow. Because, well, I'm live streaming on YouTube here, so if I told him right now during the break, everyone on YouTube would know. I'll tell him off the air after the show. But, yeah, and no guessing. I don't want anyone calling in and guessing where it's going to be. And I say this disclaimer because Richie the bus driver is on hold, and he likes to spill the beans on things. If you say anything, I'm going to have to dump it. If you're wrong or right, because I don't want to give people any false ideas of where it may be. But all will be revealed on tomorrow's show. They called me early this morning and told me we cannot reveal the location until tomorrow. The governor's office, or the governor's campaign office, asked that of us. Now, I want to take a moment before we go back to our very busy phones to talk about Anne Marie's. Oh, man. You know, they have lunch specials. And the first time I went to Anne Marie's, you know, Steve and I went to Anne Marie's and tried out the food before we started telling you about Anne Marie's. I don't know if you realize that or not. And we did. And man, that first bite, the first bite that both of us had, we split the lobster ravioli appetizer. And that first bite was like, wow, the food here is spectacular. And it is, because everything's homemade. But, you know, they have lunch specials. And one of our listeners, he told us yesterday, he went over there and had their 2 pizza slice special. He said it was like a whole plate of pizza. It was like half a pizza. The slices are so huge, and it filled him up all day. But the first time we went over there, we had the lunch specials, which they serve daily until 2 in the afternoon. And I had the baked ziti, which is part of the lunch special, which includes the drink. And the baked ziti, that's an Italian favorite. There's no doubt about it. And of course, it tastes spectacular. And right after we ate, Angel, who's the manager over there, she came over. She said, "You know, all the sauces are homemade," and you can tell. It's amazing. This is the best Italian food you will get outside of New York or Italy. It's amazing. And Italian food is my favorite, not just pizza. I love it all. My mother made lasagna like every week growing. I love Italian food. My wife, Kathy, is Italian. It is my favorite by far. And I've tried Italian food everywhere, not had it like they have it at Anne Marie's, because it's homemade, just like Grandma used to make it. Grandma literally makes it because it's family owned and operated. And they take great pride in their food. If you stray over to the pizzas, which you should, they're all spectacular, but I'd like to recommend the Sicilian. Oh man, I got the Sicilian pepperoni a couple weeks back, and it was amazing. I thought pepperoni was just pepperoni till I had Anne Marie's pepperoni. That pepperoni is spectacular, and the Sicilian is real thick Sicilian. That crust is delicious. I've been to some places, you serve Sicilian, and it's almost like a flatbread. It's not even Sicilian. Not at Anne Marie's. It is just delicious. Now, Anne Marie's is located in Pompano on the corner of Copans Road and US 1 Federal Highway, on the northwest corner in the same plaza as the movie theater. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. All right, let's go to our phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Juan from Coral Springs.
Oh, hey, Juan.
Hey, listen, the Governor DeSantis, when you see him, what a privilege that would be. I mean, I can't wait till tomorrow's show, but tell him that, you know, we're all praying for him and his...
Well, no. I want to tell you, we're going to announce tomorrow the details. While Steve and I will have a private audience with the greatest governor ever, everyone is invited, and it is a free event. You will be able to come. This is not. This is open to the public. So tomorrow we'll announce where and when. It will be Sunday, and all the public are invited.
And like I wanted to also say, not praying for him and his family, in particular, Mrs. DeSantis, and we're so elated that she has made such a terrific comeback. The other thing that I want to put my finger on is that you put your finger on, that I could not really think transvestites and those people that have ulterior. They don't just want to be left alone and live and let live. They expect us to embrace them and to sit there and just encourage their lifestyle when, hey, just live and let live. And you helped me come to that conclusion. I'm like, why the big push from the media as to which is not a big segment of the population, and then have them translate that to like it's a civil rights movement or something to that.
Well, yeah, Greg Gutfeld, his show. I record Greg Gutfeld's show on DVR, his nighttime show, because I can't stay up that late, and I watch it once or twice a week. He is very good. That show's brilliant. But Greg Gutfeld, he made a good point. He was talking about that transgender teacher with the fake boobs, okay, in Canada. And Greg Gutfeld, a very sharp guy, made a good point. He said the reason that teacher is doing that is to not get fired. They're not transgender. They're about to be fired, and now they're like, you're going to fire me now because I'm transgender? It's like a protecting their job situation.
I must have missed that episode, but that's a good angle also. But like I said, live and let live, and just let us, don't expect me to embrace, or to sit there and...
Well, I remember when President Trump was running the first time, he was interviewed by these two people. I don't remember who it was. He was on a stage somewhere, and they said, can Caitlyn Jenner use the ladies' room at Trump Tower? And he says, yeah. And then Caitlyn Jenner, who I met back in the Bruce Jenner days, we had Bruce Jenner on the Steve Kane Show once during the O.J. Simpson trial phase, and he knew Nicole, and man, he was pissed at O.J. It was one of the greatest shows we ever did. But anyway, Caitlyn Jenner went to Trump Tower after President Trump said that, got their iPhone out and recorded themselves using the ladies' room, and no one cared. In fact, Caitlyn Jenner went up to the security guard and asked, where's the ladies' room? I want to use it, to try to get denied. They said, it's down there, go over there. And no one cared. Nobody cares about that stuff. No one cares about that. All right, Juan, take care. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you at the Ron DeSantis event. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
So I was listening to Jesse Kelly radio talk show the other night, and he was talking about Tulsi Gabbard. He said, I don't trust her like you. I don't trust her. He goes, we cannot let her near the vice president.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, whatever she's saying is true, accurate, and he says we cannot...
Well, let me tell you, my wife has a theory on Tulsi Gabbard, and Steve was taking issue with my podcast yesterday, which you all should listen to. My podcast is on all podcast platforms, The Brian Craig Show, okay? Named the number 3 must-listen-to conservative podcast in America. But with my wife, we talked about this on my podcast last night. My wife has a theory that I think is true. Tulsi Gabbard's campaigning for a Republican endorsed by Trump this week. I can't remember who. It's not a famous person, but she's doing it. My wife thinks in 2024, Tulsi Gabbard is going to run as an independent and pull a Ross Perot. George W. Bush lost to Bill Clinton because Ross Perot took away Republican votes, right? And Tulsi Gabbard, my wife thinks, is going to run independent third party in a losing candidacy to take conservative voters away from President Trump in 2024 and help whoever the Democrat is. And I think that's a very credible working theory. I mean, one of our callers yesterday asked Steve a question. When have you seen a politician change?
Well, like somebody said, Trump changed.
No, he was not a politician. He was not a politician. No, Ronald Reagan used to be a Democrat. He wasn't a politician then. When have you seen an elected official really change?
Yeah. Well, I'd say Chris, but he's
Charlie Crist? No, he was. No, he hasn't changed.
Yeah, he hasn't changed it. But anyway, so that's. I think that's probably a good point. But if she ran as an independent, took votes away from Trump, how is there get that number?
Who knows? It's a long way off, but they have a long-term plan for her. Nothing's changed. She is a Trojan horse. Do not trust Tulsi Gabbard. You know, and it's upsetting to the reason I didn't want to mention her name today. We talked about her 2 days. This is the third day, but you know the thing about Tulsi Gabbard that has me so upset is she's conning so many good MAGA people. Not just Steve. I'm watching people. I heard Greg Kelly was praising her on Newsmax. What the hell was that about?
Exactly.
Hey, listen, Joe Ellen, thank you for the call. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our last break here shortly, and then it'll be time for the Gold Report with William Youngerman. We check in with William Youngerman for the Gold Report every day around this time. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It's a toll-free call, 888-GO-CANE-1. And I'm vamping now because we're running a little behind. But that's okay. It's live radio, people, and things happen. So callers on hold, stand by. Richie the bus driver is on hold. We'll get to your call, Richie. Don't worry, after the break. And Steve will be back with us tomorrow on Open Phone Friday, by the way. He is off today. Don't forget to join Steve Kane and me for our concealed weapon permit course Saturday with Mike from Eagle Eye Protection Services. You are all invited to join us. I'm finally getting my concealed weapon. We're going to have a great time. We're going to take the course together. Then we're going to go out on the range and fire off some rounds, and you are all invited. I'm going to give you Mike's number. Call and join us. It's this Saturday at 10 a.m. Call Mike at Eagle Eye Protection Services. This number rings directly to him, 561-723-6191. 561-723-6191. We'll be back with the Gold Report after this. 561-723-6191. 561-723-6191. We'll be back with the Gold Report after this.
The longest running radio show in the state of Florida. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
All right. William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated joins us each day at this time with the Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals look today?
Looks very up in turmoil right now with the CPI numbers coming out this morning. While very disappointing numbers concerning inflation and the Fed's possibility of slowing down these rate hikes has been reversed, and it looks really bad for the economy and especially for Europe. The stock market early on this morning was up a good couple hundred points, implied open, and now is down almost 500 points. Gold was up to $1,680 an ounce, and on the news of the CPI crashed some $20 very quickly. So the markets are in a little bit of a turmoil, trying to figure out where we're going from here with the Fed hike. And it looks like they are not going to stop. If they don't stop, we are going to go into a serious recession probably, and Europe is even in worse shape. So lots to consider. Bitcoin dropping about $1,000 already this morning. Dow Jones, as I said, down dramatically. The gold yesterday closed up $7 at $1,673.40. Yesterday we saw silver close at $19, which was down 12 cents. Platinum closed down $4 at $8.82. And palladium closed up $6 yesterday at $2,064. As I said, early on this morning, gold got up to about $1,680 until the CPI numbers came out, and pushed it down to $1,654 right now. That's down $19.40. Silver down 40 cents at $18.60. Platinum down $7 at $8.75, and palladium down $87 at $1,977. What does this mean to investments in precious metals? Great buying opportunity, because it's the only thing left that's real. The bond market has been going down with yields going up. Stocks have been are just getting trashed every week, it seems, and Bitcoin is certainly not a viable source of anything. So gold is the only real money left in the world, and they're going to find that out very soon as nations around the world start to experience real problems.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong, William Youngerman, but to me, gold, silver, it's like real estate. It's like a real asset that it's smaller because you can hold it in your hand, but it's a good, solid asset that over the last 5,000 years has been money.
With no liabilities attached to it.
Yeah, now, a quick question. Do you get calls from a lot of people that are in the collection side of things that are looking for specific coins? Does that happen a lot?
Been building collections for clients for over 50 years, and we do so in some of the finest coins around the world that you can own. And these have proven to be very well good investments, and of course a lot of fun owning some of the great treasures of what we call numismatics from all over the world. We have a very large inventory of those things.
Absolutely. So if there's a specific thing you're looking for, too, call. All right. Now, William Youngman opens up weekdays at 10. His number, toll free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop right in. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. Okay, back after this.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Callers on hold, stand by. I don't know if you guys have been able to hear. I've been getting text messages like crazy for the last 90 minutes, and it's all people asking me where we are going to be with Governor Ron DeSantis, and we will reveal all on tomorrow's show throughout the whole show. We'll tell you where and when it is. This is an event that is open to anyone in the public. You can all come and it's free, okay? And we'll give you all the details tomorrow on the show. You know, yesterday, we were called about this, okay? We were called about this, and you know that yesterday they called and asked Steve and me to go to this event, which is an absolutely amazing honor. And I couldn't, I got the new iPhone 14, and for some reason, my phone was set on Do Not Disturb. Do you know that I got calls about this throughout the day yesterday, and I missed every single one of them? I did not even know that the calls came through. Can you believe this? Man, I know. Can you imagine? You're getting calls to come for the governor of the state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and your phone's on Do Not Disturb all day? I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh. And there were messages, plural. And and when I played the messages, I went into a panic. But luckily I got the iPhone 14 figured out. All right, let's go. You're on the radio, Richie the bus driver. Hey, Richie.
Good morning. I'm going to praise you. And I was going to bring this up tomorrow because it's open phones on Friday, and Steve would be there. I wanted Steve to hear this. But I'm going to say you're a genius right up front. And you remember yesterday, Steve kept asking these people that agreed with you, do you listen to the Brian Craig podcast? And they all said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat and said, Steve has your pick. And here's the deal. You're very influential, which is a great thing. I was a sticker fan of Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh never took controversial phone calls. Rush Limbaugh, people that listened to him, he was preaching to the choir, and I loved his show and agreed almost 100% with Rush Limbaugh. Even his screening, he never had controversial phone calls. Now, your radio show is the opposite of that. Your radio show, take controversy. But your podcast is with Kathy. And she's like, you and her together is like, it's like one person talking with the same topic. She very rarely disagrees with you on the podcast. And the people that listen agree 100% with you all the time, which is a good thing. And that's why you're number 3. But that's the fact of the matter, that you're not controversial on your podcast at all. People that disagree, they said they're baffled. So all your listeners on your podcast are people.
Well, my podcast, I appreciate all the kind words. I didn't want to interrupt. You're doing so great. But I just say, okay, say the one more thing. I don't want to interrupt praise.
My personal thing is that I prefer listening to you on the radio although your format, I'm not crazy about some of the new formats, but regardless, I love you on the radio because you're controversial and you take controversial phone calls. But on your podcast, it's like the rest.
Well, a podcast is a little different, but my podcast was named the number 3 must listen to conservative podcast in America. Number 1 was Mark Levin, number 2 was Glenn Beck, and 3, the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm on all podcast platforms. Go to my website, briancraigshow.com, and Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm even on Audible. You can even listen to my podcast on Audible. And Audible recently invited us to join them, and it's that's kind of like a fancy place. Most people listen to podcasts with their earphones in, and it's a different medium than radio. And Michael Savage does a podcast, and it's very hard to listen to because he yells like he does on the radio. And I'm trying to listen in my AirPods and my earbuds, and it just doesn't work. Is it AirPods? The earbuds and then AirPods. I'm getting like Biden. I'm getting confused. But it's a different medium. It's a different medium, man.
Our partners, and
well, my wife and I have been. We've been married. It'll be 26 years in December. And I don't believe that you can have a long-lasting, successful marriage with someone politically you don't agree with. Because if my wife were a liberal, we'd have a whole different moral code to live life by.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. But I'm trying to say to you that the people that listen to your podcast, I don't really listen too much to podcasts because.
Well, you should. You should. But anyway, what was the reason for? Was that the reason for your call today?
This whole Candace Owens investigating. You brought up the goth people, okay? And then you went to the transgender. She's done an investigation on BLM.
I've seen it. It's amazing.
All the money has gone to the transgender people. They're trying to find where the money went to. There are a lot of people that took money that were women that became men and changed their names and identity. She can't trace all the money, and that's where it went. And then they were talking the other day. My point being that sometimes these movements are used to make people see one thing, but they're actually distractions. Just like the what do you call it? The global climate change is a distraction.
And the thing, Black Lives Matter. I've seen Candace Owens' movie on it. It's amazing. This transgender, Black Democrats are much more conservative than they realize. You've got a church-going group that when it comes to the social issues are more conservative than your average MAGA Republican when it comes to gay and transgender issues. And what Candace Owens has done in that film is great, but sadly, this anti-Semitism from Kanye has screwed it up when she came and defended it. And Ben Shapiro came out and condemned Kanye, and I could tell he was Ben Shapiro seems ticked off at Candace Owens, who works for him, over her defense of that. Ben Shapiro was off. He's Orthodox Jew, and the high holy days have been going on, so he couldn't even use the telephone. And he just responded yesterday, really, for the first time, and he's pissed at Candace Owens. I could tell. Yeah, her doing that could have long-term damage to her relationship with Ben Shapiro, and also could follow her around. You can't defend anti-Semitism. You just can't do it. It was not smart. If it were not for the Jewish holidays, it wouldn't have happened. Ben Shapiro would have been involved and said, "Hey, you can't do that." But he couldn't even take a phone call, Ben Shapiro, during the high holy days.
It's going to be an effect on her. But
it's terrible. I'm pissed at Kanye because they had that good thing. They went to Paris Fashion Week with the White Lives Matter thing, and that was the beginning of the publicity for her Black Lives Matter documentary. And that tweet that he made, the DEFCON 3 thing, screwed all that up.
And the other thing is AOC. AOC is the poster child, a woman, for the movement of climate change. So is this young Swedish girl who has Asperger's.
Greta Thunberg.
They use people to get their agenda through, and like Greta, if you said something, they'd say you're attacking a child, and if you say something about AOC, you're attacking.
Well, the fact that she is supporting the war effort in Ukraine, I don't think a war in Ukraine doesn't really do much good for the environment when you're blowing things up. Yeah. Hey, listen, Richie, I appreciate the opportunity to promote myself over there. That was nice to do. Now, I have an important question to ask you, okay? Are you in pain? If you answered yes, you don't have to be. Call Dr. Philip Appleton and talk to him about his laser away pain system. Steve's going in next week for his hip. And I'm really excited for Steve to do that. He's been complaining about his hip, and he can't make it in till next week. And he was like, well, I got to get an appointment. You don't need an appointment. Dr. Appleton is open Monday through Saturday. Walk-ins are welcome. You go when you're in pain. You go when you can. You don't have to make an appointment, okay? And that's amazing. Dr. Appleton knows when you're in pain, you need relief, you need it now. Over a month ago, he treated me for my knee pain that I've suffered from for years. You know, I had that skateboarding accident, and also on my right leg, that's the kicking leg when you're skateboarding, and I just thought I was going to have knee pain for the rest of my life, but it's gone. 2 treatments. With Dr. Appleton, it's gone. Now, laser away pain works on every joint, tennis elbow, neck pain, hip pain like Steve, but other pains too, strains, sprains. Maybe you've had knee or shoulder surgery and you're still in pain. He can help with that. Arthritis, the pains in your hands. Give him a call. I'm going to give you the number now. Mention you heard about Dr. Appleton on the radio so you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710, online at appletonchiro.com. One more time, 954-973-0710. Call Dr. Philip Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. Well, listen, guys, we'll be back tomorrow for Open Phone Friday, and we will tell you the details of the Ron DeSantis event with Steve Kane and myself then. God bless Donald Trump. Well, listen, guys, we'll be back tomorrow for Open Phone Friday, and we will tell you the details of the Ron DeSantis event with Steve Kane and myself then. God bless Donald Trump. All right, guys, hey, listen, I got to run, but thanks, everyone, for watching today. If you haven't already, please like the video, and if you're new here, please subscribe, all right?